Okay,
So,
yeah, let's talk about what power you chose and why. Who wants to start?
well, then you're the host.
Yeah.
Okay, you got me there. Okay, you probably, some of you may remember the game of A1, where Inuit became pretty strong. And yeah,
You thought about using Inuit because they were strong.
that was one part. The other part is, it is like on the edge of the map, and I don't have too many neighbors.
So you tried corner camping.
Yeah, basically that, because I'm not really good at diplomacy. Also, something that fascinated me is like the convoys. The Inuit convoys. I thought they were insane.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah, I think Inuit has the potential to really dominate the entire north of the map, right? I think it's a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
I think that was in A1, but they changed the tribe here. I don't remember what was for, but now it's Pasca.
3, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And as you can see, these tensions are high.
I mean, it can work out.
Yeah, it can, but I mean, as we'll see later, it didn't.
Spoilers already.
But yeah. Wanna continue?
Well, then let's get me to take the initiative. My name is Sechael, and I was playing the king. I picked the power because, well, I picked scrap, and when I got the notification, I was like, let's play the beautiful pink power in China.
It is the best color.
Yeah.
Yes. Even though I
Yes.
would have preferred the historical yellow. But,
Hey, you got a point.
I mean, I made the world pink together with Poland and the rest.
I think I'll go last if that's okay because I subbed in. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Ottoman said that they wanted to go next.
Yeah, thanks. Just because I can talk on mic for a bit. So yeah, I chose the Ottomans mostly because I was first introduced to this whole Diplo game by my brother, and I was kind of going in for a history LARP. And I misheard the date and thought we were starting in the mid 1400s. So I was like, oh, the Ottomans are a nice major power, but they don't have too many neighbors, so what's the worst that could happen? And then I saw the map and realized what I was dealing with, and I had gotten way more than I bargained for.
Yeah.
It was still a fun time because I figured out that the Ottomans actually start in a decent position, especially if you don't do the history LARP of hating literally everyone who borders you. But that was a fun jump start to deal with.
What were your thoughts on like what was that brown power again?
The brown?
Brown.
Abyssinia.
Yeah, that was me.
Yes.
Yeah, like
Austria,
literally, look at the map. You are. What is
Yeah,
that?
It was spending. I was
the
spending
coloring.
most of my time panicking about the Ottomans just like immediately invading me on like turn 2.
I mean, with what troops?
The great irony actually is originally I wanted to be friends with you. My plan was to have you basically just take Hawara and chill and let you be my bulwark against the rest of Africa. But then you went dark after my offer for like 2 days. I was like, ah,
Oh
he
yeah,
must wish
yeah,
to
yeah.
betray
No,
me. He
I
must
was
wish to
moving
betray me.
house.
And ah. And then I just basically went hostile from that point on.
Yeah, yeah. No, fair enough.
But I think I've noticed that I think across the board that happened a lot where because of life, there were definitely a bunch of times I went dark because I had life
Yeah,
to
yeah.
deal with. And I think people, because of the game, assume betrayal when things go dark, which is not an unreasonable assumption. And I think
Yeah,
that's
fair.
just part of the game.
Yeah.
Something to deal with.
Yeah.
Well then, Sub, you can introduce yourself. If we
Yeah. So I use Soup Deck Pirate as my sometimes online handle. I picked Abyssinia because I was slightly drunk at a friend's house, and and he suggested that I pick that one. So that was the picking process for that. No, so like literally the idea was I can't remember the specific logic, but it was like there's no one next to you other than like one power who you can negotiate with, which evidently immediately fell through. So yeah, my strategy was not there, so to speak.
Ha, strategy.
Yes.
Overrated.
But yeah, so that was mostly my decision making.
Yeah, then I guess we have Spyro next, if you want.
Yeah, sure. Hi, my name is Spyros. He's from Greece, Athens. So I have rolled up, signing in for the game and then forgot about it, and then I got a message from Tyler saying that I should pick a power from the scrap. So I went in, and I think it was a knee-jerk reaction that I chose France because of classical Diplo, where France is supposed to be a strong power.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't put much thought to that. I thought, okay, France there, let's grab that. I don't regret it. It was very fun, and I think being a colonial really is a thing to do in this game if you want to put the time, to interact with all those people that border you.
You're a bit silent. If you could adjust your mic, if you could.
Oh, you heard nothing?
I heard you, but
I have you
little
up
bit
to
silent.
200%.
Yeah, it was
and I
very
still,
silent.
Yeah.
Very low. Okay.
No,
Is that
that's better.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
said
Yeah.
I said wise things for those who miss them.
Yeah. So,
and then
then
I guess that leaves it with me. I'm Ferry. I joined the game. I was a sub for Tokugawa in about 3 years after game start. So that was definitely an interesting experience. I basically joined the game because I saw that there was a sub position open. And I wanted to spite my friend who wanted to play about 1 million Japan games. And I saw the perfect opportunity to do that because they were spectating me, or they were spectating that Tokugawa, and then Tyler let me play it instead because I responded so quickly rather than them. It was a very fun experience.
yeah. And Flamer Spurb at that moment had like what, 6 game?
Oh, I don't know.
Too many. I mean, that is a good Überleitung in English.
I'll talk more about my position when I came in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it would make a good transition to Tyler, if you want to introduce yourself.
Hello. I was the GM for this game. And this is all new to me. I have no idea what's going on.
Well,
Apparently,
I
there's a
opened
game
the
being
bill.
played.
I'd
This
hope
is like
you'd.
an eye-opening experience.
Well then.
No, it was an absolute pleasure GMing everybody here. This was beginner game,
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Quote unquote.
But it was ended up being a very, very fun game. We didn't have any disruption to our cadence. We had an awesome crew. We had an awesome game, side quest, Debs. You guys are all awesome. I got nothing but good things to say about y'all.
Thank you.
That is very nice to hear. Also, hello, I'm there.
Well, Benny, you can introduce yourself, and Cyclo can zoom in on your power.
All right. I hope everyone can understand me.
Yes.
I played the Safavids. Actually, what are we doing? I'll just,
Just your
summarizing our
introduction,
game. or-
why you choose your power.
Okay. This was one of my first diplomacy games. I only got really into the hobby recently. I picked Scrap, and of the remaining power Safavids really appealed to me because if you look around it, there's a lot of nice neutrals you can get.
Yes.
So you really can go into the whole. I just ally all of my neighbors, grab the neutrals, and then see whoever steps me then already, and just fight that person. So I don't need to really think about that. Especially when looking at the geography with my Ottoman and my Mughal neighbors, I looked at this. This is not a great border for stabbing. If you look at Poland and Austria, there's just one non-SC province between Krakow and the Austrian capital. I need to walk through Mokran to Sindh, and then I get to Delhi. A whole year spent walking, nothing gained. And the same thing with the Ottomans. I mean, I'm closer to some SCs, but apart from Trebizond and Baghdad, I can never get anything because there will be a bunch of Mediterranean fleets. So what to do instead? Ally with these two, fight the Russians if needed, because, fighting the colonials is also pretty fun as regionals, because, small guy against big guy, that's always appealing. And same thing with that one SC down there from Portugal. It made sense to say I choose these two as my enemies and the other two as my allies and go from there.
Fair enough.
Nice. Okay. So, that's all I think. So, let's have a look at the moves in the first term.
Blum.
If it works.
Yay!
There we go.
And my 15-year-old PC struggling.
The maps will get better, I promise.
Yeah, there were a couple of issues at the start.
I remember Evans very fondly.
Yes.
My phone is lagging rather intensely now. Also, I'm very
15-year-old
well,
PC
look-
versus
look at the-
15-year-old phone. Whatever dies first.
Whatever that is. Yeah. If you look closely, you see.
So I
people
guess
move.
I'll start first, explaining my moves. So I think it's pretty obvious. The Equaluit fleet goes to Gotthard, Bujak, Naskapi. Waktak, I wasn't sure what to do, but I thought Hudson Bay is something clever because I can go to Salik and also go to Kree. Yeah. Can decide in fall. And if we look over here in Alaska, I wanted to go for the Aleuts and also for Denana. So, yeah. pretty standard expansion. Who
The
wants
move
to
to Hudson
continue?
Bay is really powerful, and
Yeah.
the only like counter argument to that would be to go to Hudson Strait if you want to go to Arctic to set up a Greenland Sea invasion to England, something like that. You might have to
Mm.
forego a supply center to get some position, but Hudson Bay basically guarantees sleep.
Yeah,
The
I think that's.
problem.
No, go on.
Go ahead.
I just think that's a very standard moveset. Like, there's nothing really wrong with it. I don't think you can really do better as Inuits. Their first turn seems pretty clear as what to do, right?
Yeah, the only issue I could potentially see if, again, thinking in the back of the head of how this game turned out, these moves from Atapasca aren't necessarily super favorable to you, but nothing especially against you. Moving to Hudson Bay probably raised the first alarm bells in their mind.
I will say, just because I had very good Diplo with the other powers in North America, and the game's over at this point, so I could talk about it. I know for a fact that from the get-go, both the Ute and the Shoshone wanted to keep the Inuits down because you start in such a good position.
The
Yeah,
silent
this
that's
is
why
Club
they
unfortunate and
moved.
not much you can do about that, yeah.
Yeah, that's why you can see they basically moved from the get-go to counter you because you start in a really good spot if you're allowed to cement yourself.
Oof.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think a telltale sign is also that none of the Atapascan troop is going south.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like,
What you
not
really
into the
need
You
to
can
have.
already see like their lines a bit.
Yeah.
So you could
If
tell based off these
Atapasca
moves.
started with a fleet in Chipuan, you could have a sort of Black Sea, Russia-Turkey bounce situation going on. But
Mm.
since they start with 4 armies, you think Atapasca has to make plays for free. Inuit doesn't have much say on it.
Mm.
But if you don't move to Hudson Bay, like what's Hudson Strait gonna do for you?
The
Still
thing
takes a
is,
week.
Atapasca now has 2 units on Cree. So,
France also didn't
yeah.
move west. So
Mm. This was also a very interesting move. I would have expected going for Chilcotton, but yeah.
Yeah, that
Um,
already shows they are somewhat against you.
Yeah, that's a really aggressive move set towards you. I don't think it really tells you that much, except the move from Tlicho. I don't know how to pronounce that. So Chiporan is very against you, but I think that was probably, by the looks of things, probably a deal with you to take it year 2 instead of year 1, right? That's just a center that
Yeah.
they can pick up at any time. It doesn't really matter when they take
Thing
it.
is, for my fall moves, Atapasca said, "Yeah, I have 2 units on Cree, and I want Cree." Yeah, you can't have Cree. Thing is,
Fair
for
enough.
me, this like removes like whole. It strengthens our border between each other, and second, I have like nowhere to move. Like, I could go to Russia, could go to Europe, but this is pretty much blocked for me then. Go
Mm.
against France. We'll see that later too. Yeah.
I mean, I did ask you relatively early to go in against Russia, but I don't think I'll ask you already in the very first turn.
Yeah. Okay,
big
you want
touch you see is a gamble.
I've still got some time before I need to disappear.
as you can see, I'm an expert player.
Yes, those were very good moves from you specifically.
I was kicking myself so hard, because I looked at Ikuri and it was like, fuck, now he can bounce me.
Yeah, that's definitely a
Yeah.
non-standard first move, I would say.
Yeah, I was so lucky that Russia was very trusting, because we made some DMCs and said, I take that dot, you take that dot. And he kept his word. But
Oh, that's
I
good.
was paranoid. And well, things turned out.
What did you want to do with your army in Jikiha?
Don't ask me. I don't know. I don't know what I wanted to do. I think the idea was Highland Power Nivix, then from Nivix to Evans, and Kikiha Highland Power, and then Highland Power to Nivix.
Ah,
Fair enough.
okay.
And the move from him to Yakuts to Evans, I saw as a threat, because if I remember right, I was saying, hey, I want Evans, you can have Judges. But then I was like, shit, what if he just doesn't move?
Fair enough.
Notable that Edo did not move to North Pacific on their opening moves, thus Koryax will remain unoccupied.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would have been another guaranteed one for you then, Inuits. If you went Alaska in a different direction.
Yeah, I can't say much because I wasn't a player at that point. I definitely wouldn't have taken those moves if I was playing at the time. I probably would have gone to NPO. And then when Osaka took Kuroshio instead, just to grab more centers. I feel like that would have been a better play, but you know.
Formosa holding is also very intriguing.
Oh yeah, from the Dutch, yeah.
Yeah. Early on, I wanted the Dutch to go a bit after Japan, but they didn't. And somehow Portugal thought it's a good idea to leave Macau.
Yeah.
And
you
not
know
go
that at the beginning of the
one-on-one.
game we did have a couple of subs within the first couple of years, and then the game kind of just rolled at a good pace.
Also, that is Muko here in the chat?
Mughal was
That
one of the
was
pilots
the
that got
first
subbed.
Mughals.
Yeah. We had a different Mughal player at the start.
Oh. Yeah, this whole is pretty interesting. Yeah. Well.
Well, as it was told, it was a beginner game.
Okay, yeah. Safavid.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. I had with the Ottomans, I arranged how we gonna split up everything. Durban to me, Tbilisi to him. Everything worked out. Baghdad moved away, which was also good, and Tehran moved away, so our border is immediately somewhat safe. I wanted to go for Khiva, Bukhara. My negotiations with the Russians at that point, both the Russians and Polish tried to convince me in year one to attack the Ottomans, more or less understandably. And the conditions for the Russians were that they would still want Turkestan, let me have Khiva and Bukhara, on air quotes, and I should attack the Ottomans. With their move to Kazakh, which is, somewhat standard, but it already immediately forces me to support move into Khiva, so I can't even make a play for Uskan or Turkestan realistically if I want to guarantee 5 builds. In the south, I had actually really productive relationship with Portugal. They just went ahead and said, "Yeah, you're stronger here. I want that fleet in India to help there." Then didn't even move into Gulf of Oman, which, is actually connected to Bandar Abbas, so that would have been strong, or straight to Hormuz, which would have also been strong and actually completely bounced me here. Originally, they wanted to go to Rustak, at least what I thought from the press. So that's why I'm doing this somewhat weird order set, because I assumed I could still get the army into Kashem, and maybe slip into them behind in Muscat, because if they're sitting in Rustak but not in one of the home SCs, so they could never build there, even if things turn hostile, I could, never need to worry about them. Instead, like this, I let them keep Muscat from 1 more year, took it afterwards, great. With the Mughals, I also made a bunch of DMCs into our shared territory. They get Yarkand, I get my 2 centers, and then I probably played a little bit too hard to get with Usken. I didn't really want to give it to them, and especially after this somewhat weaker year 1 and only a single army in the north, I didn't really see how they had any kind of claim to Usken, because that one army can only take Yarkand anyway. Like, what are you gonna do? You can't take 2 SCs in 1 year. And especially not with one army. It turns out later that will bite me a little bit in the dust, but in all honesty, they would have stabbed me anyway, even if I already agreed at that point that Usken should be theirs.
Yeah. Sounds reasonable. Yeah. Ottomans, I guess?
If you can talk at the moment.
I can be on for a bit. So my moves are also pretty self-explanatory, just to give an idea of the strategy I was going with at the time. Since this was my first ever game of this, I wanted to be a little more cautious. So I was going with the strategy of be friends with everyone around me, especially since there were a bunch of neutral centers I could just grab. But I did have an idea of who I was going to eventually betray, specifically the Spanish and the Russians. Especially because when you look at it, the Black Sea, unless the Ottomans massively muck things up, it is basically impossible for the Russians to contest the Ottomans there. Like, unless I seriously eat rocks or the Safavids invade me from the east. Because I start with cores on the Black Sea and he doesn't.
Well, he does start.
I mean, he has
Shacha.
He starts with
but
cores.
That's never going to be free.
Well, because it takes at least 2 years because he has to put an army on it. And then he has to move off it so he can build on it. So,
yeah, that's right.
So I made a deal with him where we would split the Black Sea, but in reality I was always planning to build fleets there the following year and just take over everything. Which I felt a little bad about because the following year he freaked when he saw me build fleets, reasonably so, and I convinced him they were there to stab the Safavids.
Yep.
How I was planning to stab the Safavids with fleets is a great question, which I never answered.
You know, you can always carry the boats over the land using your armies.
Exactly. And to give him some credit, I think it was just he was freaking out and wanted to believe that that was what was happening because there was really nothing he could do about the alternative. Because beyond defending, he couldn't build fleets there in time, and with 2 fleets, I could just take full control of the Black Sea, and there's nowhere for him to push out.
Yeah.
But anyway, besides that, was you can see my general strategy was just grabbing the centers around me. The big thing I was looking to was what the Safavids would do, because we had made our pact, but I didn't know him yet, so I wasn't sure if he was going to take advantage of it or not. But things worked out, and we had easily my strongest alliance during this entire game was with him.
100%.
I think we very consistently kept each other in the loop. I don't think there was ever a point where there was even like miscommunication or concern between the two of us. Like our border was one of the most secure borders in the world.
Yep. We created Schengen a little bit early.
And we got
so
a
that
bounce in the south with Super,
With who?
Yeah.
the Red Sea.
Oh,
Yeah, that I don't know what happened there, to be honest.
yeah. I was gonna say that's when I assumed you were betraying me because I did not. I can't think of a reason for you to move to the Red Sea besides stabbing me. That's when I basically went, okay, it's violence.
Yeah, so the thing is that most of my moves have to be taken with the context that I was drinking glue throughout the entire game, so it did not
That's really
help my moveset. But basically, so the idea was that we were going to make a sort of Pan-African anti-Ottoman pact, which, as the Ottomans are well aware, did not pan out.
I was about to say
with
Molly
Sechael.
from the get-go was
Yeah,
working with me. I'm gonna be real with
Yeah,
y'all.
exactly. Yeah. The Marley basically took an extra day to say yes to the alliance, and then immediately betrayed it like as soon as physically possible. So that
Literally
that
everything
did
that
not
was said
pan
in
out.
that chat was given to me.
Oh no, yeah. I completely. I was like, I knew Summit was up. I knew someone was leaking Summit. I didn't know who. So basically, the entire thing was like, I was just gonna agree to you were gonna take Hawara, and then we were gonna have a DMZ effectively.
Mhm.
And I did a similar thing with I've completely forgotten I think it was
Jurin or Somalia?
Somalia, yeah. We had a DMZ there as well. I was going to take Wasangali and then basically move up to Darfur. But it didn't. And then basically the entire idea was I was going to hold the line until they took over all the colonies from the European powers, and then we were going to march upwards, which did sort of happen, but not very well. Because we tried to make like a global anti-imperialist pact that also didn't pan out at all.
Mhm.
So yeah, the general idea was that we were going to try and fight the Europeans and then Ottomans, but that did not go exactly to plan given Marley's ambitions. Yeah,
I will say,
that was it, basically.
I feel a little bad because I know multiple times, this is future turns, but there were multiple points where I may or may not have leaked false information to you to get you to keep your fleet on Mekele, because that way you couldn't build more fleets.
Yeah,
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
I
may have asked the Safavids to leak.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would that. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I sort of had to trust anything that anyone was saying because otherwise I was basically screwed. So
Yeah.
that was sort of my massive problem. And
What was really rough about your start, honestly, was that because you made in theory a pact with both me and Somalia, you really cut off any route of expansion besides west.
Yeah, that was a problem. I didn't really think about that until kind of afterwards. It was like, oh yeah, wait, where am I gonna go? And then, yeah.
Yeah, I feel the problem.
Also, that's probably Ottoman's single biggest advantage is I just start with so many places to expand. I can afford to have peace on like 3 or 4 fronts and keep growing.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
this game really does require endless growth to stay relevant.
Yeah, you start snowballing after like 2 or 3
Continuous
turns. And then,
growth.
Yeah, if you stop growing at a certain point and somebody else on the other side of the board where you can't really influence it continues to grow, then you are at a certain point in the game doomed to be at a number 8 or number 7. Yeah.
I think that's what happened to both of you and me in the
Yep.
end, specifically against Poland and Somalia. Not really. Somalia just was able to grow with Africa alone, more or
yeah,
less.
they just kind of like did their own thing and basically won the game, like, or at least stayed alive.
I mean, a
just
lot
off
of
that.
people helped Somalia to win because a lot of people simply didn't want Poland to win.
As the game transformed into a do you want Poland to win or do you want Somalia to win? And
I feel
which
like
camp you
this
fell
is
into?
spoilers for later, no?
Oh yeah. We
Spoilers.
just know of ourselves that much.
I won't be able to talk later, so this is I can't get all my opinions in.
Yeah, but we had
Cut
a
it out.
really strong France at the beginning and
Yes.
an aggressive
Oh,
English
yes.
opening.
Let's see about Europe.
Enlighten us, please.
First, can you hear me?
Yes.
I need
Yes.
to say that I am amazed that you remember so many details from 3.5 months past. To me, this is impossible. I cannot recall details. I just can tell that in the beginning I was trying to, because I am an alliance player, of course. I was trying to find out what's the configuration, what's another colonial maybe that we could form a long-term alliance and wouldn't have to fight it out in some place in the globe, and at the same time maybe have between us other colonials that we could squeeze. The initial press was not very, how do you say, very, very good with most of them. It was very clear that we could not build a rapport with England. Spain did not, I think the first England, yeah. The first Spain did not create so much confidence that they would follow through. They were slow to respond. Sometimes they went dark. So it wasn't very clear who would be my partner, let's say. I don't feel I was very aggressive. Probably I was. Apart from going straight out against England, that was a major decision I made on the beginning. I remember we agreed to bounce on Ghent with the Dutch, and then I went on to capture the neutrals there. So yeah, apart from that, I think on the next turn I just took away a sneak. Yeah, I sneaked and took away one center from the Inuit, and that was, I think, the most dishonorable thing I did the whole game. In all the other occasions, I was open with people that it wouldn't work between us, and I front stabbed them rather than backstab them. Or maybe I cannot recall everything very well.
I do have a couple of questions about your moveset.
Okay.
Quebec to Gasp. What was the plan there? I don't know. It just Quebec to Gasp.
Let me see.
For me, it just feels more beneficial to go into St. Lawrence. No.
Oof.
Unless you're really scared about Port Royal being taken from Portland.
Yeah, I just can guess now that Port Royal was a concern there. So yes, I think we had some discussions about Anticosti with the Inuit at the time, so I wouldn't have to force it. So I wouldn't have to go to St. Lawrence to start with. But I cannot recall the takes really.
Right,
just
fair
making this up. Yeah.
Could you also go back to Europe, Cyclo, for my other question?
I think in the beginning we were in very friendly terms with the Ottomans. I liked my press with them, and I felt that we could work together.
All right.
I did as well, actually, just to be clear.
The other question of the French on their early moves is, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but we did have a lot of Frances moving to Strasbourg immediately rather than Savoy. I was just wondering if you can remember anything about your thought process over there.
I think I want to maximize the. What would be my alternative?
Moving from Dijon to Strasbourg.
Oh, yeah. Bordeaux went to Dijon to eventually get to Strasbourg, while Savoy would get Genoa next turn, and Marseille would get Corse, I think.
Okay,
yes,
I see.
That guaranteed 3 builds there.
And then I presume the bounce in Ghent was
agreed.
Was agreed, and then you can go into Luxembourg with Paris. Okay, that makes sense. Never mind.
It was agreed, but then I cannot recall what I did from there.
Yeah.
I think I went to Luxembourg. Not sure.
Spyros, if you recall, how were the initial negotiations with Spain, Portugal, and the Netherlands? Did you have an impression of who you'd like to work with? Who was reliable?
Yeah, I mean, the Netherlands. I think we had the same Netherlands in the whole game, right? We worked together up through the end. I never stopped them. I supported them as much as I could. They made a couple of mistakes in the mid-game or maybe a bit later that were very costly. They lost Erie in the North America that really spoiled my game there, and almost Ute were able to bridge our front over there. But yet I held with them, and they offered in the end to give me their European centers instead of Poland taking them. But it was about the time that I had decided to throw. So with Spain, I think it was in the beginning was the very young player. He was going to high school, I think, or something. So he couldn't press while he was in school, and his schedule was very irregular, and his replies to press, not very reliable. So I thought that this wouldn't work between us. With Portugal, I think we had a good. You see, Portugal, if you see the whole map, was a prime candidate to be a long-term ally because there were not many places that we were neighbors, and there were many places where we had other colonials in between of us. So if we formed an alliance, we could squeeze them in many places, and we could form a let's say stable alliance. So in the beginning, we were in good terms, but not in great terms. Apparently, there was this Madagascar, South Africa area that was hot between us, and in the future, you're gonna see that it produced.
Madagascar does seem like a flashpoint in this game.
Yeah, correct. It was. I don't have many hours ahead of me to join this, but to be in this video. But the first tab I suffered from the Huron, I was unexpected, of course, but I decided to stay around and harass them because I could. I could spare a few fleets there, and this pinned down, I think, 7 fleets of theirs, tried to kill me. And then they dislodged 3 fleets of mine on a later stab, and I had the option to disband them or just, retreat someplace else. And it was about the time that Poland made some non-agreed moves in Europe that seemed to me as threatening. And this was a very bad coincidence because it made me to disband those 3 fleets in the south and actually about the Indian Ocean to build in Europe and deter a possible Polish stab at the time. If Poland hadn't made those moves that were not, for which I was not warned, maybe we could remain on a 100% trust basis, and I could keep my fleets around the Madagascar, and the Somalis wouldn't have grown as aggressively thereafter. So it was this area of the map was very determined many things on how the game went.
So I'm also curious about something. So I'm not sure if everyone remembers, but I remember one of the first quote unquote big stabs of the game was you France taking London. And I assume that was not your plan from the beginning, so I'm curious what events led to that happening.
No, I mean, from the get-go, I decided that I couldn't work with England, and I cannot remember what was the exact emotional state of mind during this period, and it was not typical of me, but somehow I decided that my strategy would be to attack one colonial straight away, and England was the one I think that was the best choice for me. Almost I must have read some article about the first round of Imperial Diplomacy, discussing about some kind of strategy like this, that you have to go strong against one neighboring colonial. I cannot recall very well. So from the first turn, I decided after our press went nowhere to get into war with England. So I'm not sure if this can be regarded as stab.
Yeah, I was gonna say I should have specified that when I said the first great stab, that's in heavy quotations. It's
Okay.
just like I remember early game there were like 2 or 3 events, the other big one being Poland attacking Sweden, where the attacked party basically went, "We are now eternal enemies. This was the great betrayal."
Yeah, a lot of press and
Oh.
public channels from both England against you, France, and Sweden against Poland, which
Oh,
I
I think it was
will
mostly
admit helped sway me a little bit against both of you. Those were the seeds.
yeah, I mean, I was trying to still have good relations with you, France, at that point. It definitely swayed me against Poland to a certain extent, but I don't think we were ever going to be on great terms just because of the state of the Balkans doesn't really play to that.
I don't know. I don't regret going against England at that time, and you saw that when the third England appeared, and we could have proper relations. Excellent relations. We worked like great allies from that point on. So I'm guessing this is a game of players rather than powers.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, like, it worked out really well for you. Like, England was very much handicapped for the rest of the game because of the attacks in the English Channel and on the mainland.
England did
they
get
really-
a sub within the first couple of years.
Yeah.
And bids did improve with the sub. I think it was a combination of the situation that they were forced into, and also the players just really struggled to defend both their homeland and their colonies, which led to their empire basically disintegrating.
I truly believe that this was avoidable from their part. If they have pressed properly. And as I said in my closing remarks, everything's a diplomacy failure. Whenever things don't go your way, there's like, something better you could do.
And like, I think it worked out, but I definitely think it was avoidable. And I think England would be better off for sure if they had avoided that outcome.
Yeah, I agree. I have. I think I have put England as my first choice for the next one. Sure. Let's see, England, I think, or France. Yes, France and then England or something like this. I mean, I think it's a great power. England are very interesting to play. I guess it depends how you play and who your neighbors are.
Yeah.
But with the Ottomans, we had quite. I mean, if I think back to the first year, I had the best press with Ottomans, I think. Yeah. They knew that very pleasant, and I still love them. Even things work out with us very well. Other powers seem blasé to me, I realized this beginner's game, it was my first variant played. So I was handicapped in a way because I carried let's say, the manners of classical diplomacy with me, which apparently did not work very well in this environment. But this was also the great excitement for me because this is diplomacy, but much more of it. And also you get to discover what's the strategic importance of every region and every tile on the map. And this offers a quite strong pleasure for a diplomacy player.
No, I fully agree. I think you and I actually have very similar attitudes sometimes in our presses where we can both be a bit blunt. I know based on the messages in the void that Adjurin did not like that I threatened him in press. But I think that's just you and I both have that style of press typing that can sometimes rub others the wrong way.
I had different styles in different occasions, I think. And probably I took the liberty to try different stuff because I approached this as a fun game. So with the Safavids, we had I had the mafia style press at that time, That was very fun.
Yeah, I didn't like that. No, at that time I was already very concerned. I can't remember if you did that press before I started to try for a little global coalition against you, or slightly after that. But I think I did that
I remember
slightly
getting roped
afterwards.
into that.
Yeah.
It was
I mean,
Also with Austria,
nothing came of it, obviously, but it was a fun side project. And I mean, in the end, you did stagnate, not necessarily because of me, but your explosive growth somewhat stopped. If you grow too quickly at the start of the game, it really puts a target on your back.
Yes.
And
I think
I thankfully never was in that position because I never grew that fast.
I would love
Yeah.
I would love to take credit for France stagnating with my actions in the Mediterranean, but I really can't. It was really the UT and North America that did the brunt of that.
Yes, that's correct. And also the Caribbean was not, the Spanish were held up with a very good resistance there. I don't know. Have you had any of you been in the position to grow very fast and held yourself back in this game in the beginning?
In my A1 game,
well, this is my first ever game.
Consciously didn't go for 5.
No, I mean,
I slow rolled a 4 as Inuit.
No, I'm saying in this game, did any of you?
I thought it was wise to not double as a regional, because then you just immediately paint a target on your back, unless you're like Safavid and you have that super safe border on your right and left, and you can kind of like get the vibe that Russia might be going down early, then double all the way.
But you cannot know. By the end, I was 5th. Before the shenanigans in the end happened, and if I hadn't built strength in the beginning, maybe I would end up with like Portugal or Spain or England even, so you cannot know the counterfactual. Maybe my fate otherwise would be much worse. I would be in a position of a pariah, or something. I cannot tell. Probably it was a bad idea to grow quickly from the beginning, because I hadn't established a very strong alliance with another colonial that would grow on the same rate at the same time. If this could happen, and if we were 2 colonials working together and growing that fast, then that would be decisive for the game. But it was just me growing at the expense of another colonial, and the other colonials I didn't have an ally to grow with me.
It was a disadvantage of England collapsing so quickly, and Spain really stuttering.
And
Inuit.
Portugal and the
What are you
Netherlands.
thinking about Anticosti here? So looking at this moveset, when you see France move to Gaspé as opposed to St. Lawrence, and you have a potential walk into Anticosti if you can negotiate it, were you and France friendly? Seeing that France was already attacking England, how did you feel after the first movement phase?
Don't quite remember, but me and France were pretty friendly.
Very friendly.
I had like basically 2 options. I could go with Athabasca against France, and I could go with France against Athabasca. And kind of a third option, I go with Utah against Athabasca. But mostly same as the second option. So, I think what I talked with France, he said he didn't like England. I didn't care if it's England or something like that. So, basically I negotiated, he can have Anticosti if he helps me into St. John's and St. Anthony's. Yeah.
That is the key to unlocking that area. Strait of Belle Isle is probably one of the most important provinces in that area.
Yeah.
It connects just to 5
one
dots.
thing I was a bit worried about because of the Azores straight into the North Atlantic.
Making a move for
So
Bravo.
I talked to Portugal to I didn't told him to not go Brathlet, but I changed. I like talked about something else to I tried
Maybe
to talk him
Bermuda.
into goating, yeah, Bermuda. So he wouldn't even think about going to Greenland. Yeah. In the start, I
Did
think
you
I've
ever think
talked
about
with
going to
every single
Greenland
power.
Sea? Did you ever think about jumping north of Greenland and scooting over to England? Or was that just kind of never an
I
option for
didn't
you?
thought. I mean, it was a very slim option because that is like a real bottleneck. But what I have thought though is I've talked with France. I think you still remember, like a joke convoy, like using France and Portugal to convoy an army of mine into Plymouth.
I recall
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
But I never felt that this could really happen. It was very expensive at this time, when all units should be employed to get neutrals and everything. That convoy would be really, really expensive.
Yeah. The thing is, we've planned this like for year 2, year 3. Like, this fleet goes to Greenland and goes back, and then convoys this army via Labrador, then using the Portugal in the North Atlantic, and with the French fleet in Rockall Rise, to like convoy it there.
But that could be for fun, yeah? Strategically,
That was the plan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but just for fun. Strategically does not make sense.
Yeah, kinda, yeah. I mean,
Late game, you
if
can
you
make
want,
those fun convoys. When you
yeah.
got nothing better to do.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, France would gain an extra army to help him
But I'm pretty
against
sure
England, but
Plymouth
yeah, that's
could
it.
probably be sniped here. Like 9.5 times out of 10. I don't think
Yeah.
Irish team will ever cover Plymouth in this situation. That's just my initial guess.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Same
are
with
in
London,
the
maybe.
position. Yes.
I got to London, I think, at Plymouth. I'm not sure.
Well, I think you're probably going to cover London since it's your capital, so people think that it's got more value. But strategically, I mean, either one's fine.
I mean,
Yeah.
you would rather cover London because the fleet in Southern Light doesn't do anything else. It
But the
can't
fact that-
get an SC.
I mean,
while
you could
Irish Sea can
try
actually
get into
Ireland.
Amsterdam.
Plymouth is so much harder to defend unless you have an army on the mainland, like in Oxford, because Rockall Rise is such a vulnerable province for England.
Yeah, which is why something like London to North Sea and Oxford to Wales or Plymouth or Oxford Hold might actually be a better option. If I remember
kind of like in
correctly, is
Classic.
Oxford even coastal?
Oxford does not actually have
Yeah,
does it?
exactly.
It might. Yeah, it does. It's just that fat army
Does.
blocks it.
Okay. Because otherwise it would make even more sense to keep that army around to just constantly make sure your homeland is safe and expand with the fleets.
Hmm.
Because, again, with Imperial Diplomacy, you have the just sheer number of units that you can keep things at home. Or, if you actually want to go ballsy and say, oh, I have good diplo with France, they will surely not stab me, I would go London to North Sea still to get Bergen.
As England, you
more
can have
growth.
Edinburgh and Iceland and Ireland all in your pocket because no one can realistically reach those within 3 moves. Probably
Yeah.
4 moves.
Yeah.
So you don't even need to take Edinburgh the first year unless you want to go for plus 14.
Theoretically,
But are you going to
England
move to Oxford?
could
Are you
guarantee
really going to
Iceland
defend?
instead of Ireland.
You can guarantee both, or one or the other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
one
going
of
to
the
rock all is
Do you
always
think
going to be
do you
a
think
strong
Spitsbergen's
move.
actually going to make a play for Iceland in year 2? I mean, God bless them if they want to do that, but I think Sweden might be
I
a little
mean-
bit higher on my priority list, like Trondheim. maybe work with Bergen to get into Vestland.
I mean, if Russia has, Russia has like nothing else border to
They only sent one fleet
Britain,
west, too,
so he could try.
because they could have
Could
moved to
try.
Karas. Yeah, Obdorsk could have moved to Karas Sea. Obdorsk takes Spitsbergen. Barents Sea drops to Norwegian, and then you can set up for some crazy Norwegian
I mean,
shenanigans.
theoretically, you could just go Arkhangelsk, Barents Sea like this, then go to Spitsbergen, Greenland Sea, and then Iceland. So you can take both within both years with one fleet. It is possible.
I think as England, I would just take Bergen, take Ireland, and I mean, you don't really want to open London to the Channel. I mean, sure, France did it, but do you really want to bounce on the Channel your very first turn when you have a potential Dutch fleet in Southern Bight? I don't know.
Essentially, I
There is-
think as a colonial like England in a like three-way over here, and you have that same three-way in the Americas as well. Pick one of the two as your ally, possibly kill the other, but definitely make good alliance with one of them. And
So in-
it's the
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
where
In
could
Classic, you can open the Maginot. You can support Marseille supports Paris to Burgundy, and that's the same as London supports Plymouth to English Channel. You can basically secure the channel and just stop any sort of shenanigans that could possibly happen because London can't be tapped. You're giving up Ireland, you're giving up a build, but do you really want to open as the Maginot as France? Not always. I'd rather try to double, but
what land can do? Go to
Okay.
Iberian current. I mean, the fleet in Nantes. What else can do? That's much better. I mean, if you go to the Iberian current, you threaten Porto. Then
I
You
mean,
could
drop to
go
Normandy to secure
Normandy
Ghent, but
and then
then you have a
support
fleet
into
in
Ghent.
Ghent, and a French fleet in Ghent is kind of not where you want the French fleet to be.
Well, I mean, technically, the Netherlands could like force themselves into Ghent.
I must say,
Because it
Nanta's
also,
fleet is kind of
border Utrecht.
weird. You almost want a second fleet up there as France. I feel like having Nanta's border the Channel and Iberian Current, and you're not going to Bay of Biscay. You're not attacking. What are you going to get?
yeah, no, not there. So where?
I mean,
Yeah, that's a
Iberian
completely
Current.
useless province.
I mean, Porto is probably not going to go to Iberian Current. Porto's probably just going to hold. Apparently, they held in this game, but I mean, probably would have gone to Sea of Azores, but that's just me. Get some play on Tangiers and Rabat, but yeah, I mean, Nantes, you basically have to go to the Channel. So organize a bounce, arrange a bounce. I don't know what else is Nantes going to do.
So
I mean,
yeah, you're incentivized to go somehow.
Hmm.
By the lack of alternative.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if you can
the
convoy
way,
into
what-
Navarre in the autumn as France, Godspeed.
I mean, there
Yeah.
are some interesting attacks you can do against Spain as France, but ultimately, year one, you mainly want to grow via neutrals, I think, because this map is just dotted with so many of them that almost everyone can, well, not double, but almost everyone can grow significantly just from neutrals
Yeah.
within the first year.
Yeah.
You get
I
three
like the
or four
arranged
squares.
bounce again as well. I think that's good for you both. It gives you a Dutch fleet in Ghent, in an army in Luxembourg. That's a nice border for France and Dutch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's good.
By the way, what does this island belong to? Because it's green.
That's
Is there
Madeira.
like a reason for?
That's Madeira.
I
Ella,
believe
is there a reason why it's green or?
probably
Yeah,
not.
it's Portuguese.
It doesn't technically belong to the Azores. It probably belongs to I would say the Canaries, but it could have just been a
Yeah.
GM
I
error.
think it's just a bit funny.
Mhm.
A little quirk. Yeah.
I mean, you could add another island there, but I mean, Portugal has enough seas.
We haven't even talked about South America. Is there anything going on in South America?
Yeah.
Yeah, who
it's
cares?
it's the forgotten continent of 35 SCs.
I mean, yeah, they're, I guess, standard openings. One interesting choice was Chiloe to Pacific. I thought this was funny, and because the Pacific also borders Gunai in
It's a guarantee.
Australia. Yeah, one is a
It
guarantee,
isn't actually.
and second,
Portugal from Timor
Ooh.
can bounce you. But they
Yeah.
shouldn't, but
Ooh.
they can.
I still claim that it's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Look at that juicy
it's
3-core you
a
got
de
in
facto
Danny. Look
guarantee.
at that. That's a green 3-core in Danny. Who can resist that?
Oh,
Or Wagamon? Why would you bounce a Ganai if you could deny yourself a build by screwing Mapooch?
yeah.
Just go for Wagamon
Well,
or
if you
Danny.
have some really aggressive strategy and like go together with a few colonials to kill a specific regional, which I don't know
Yeah.
if that has ever been tried yet, but
I mean-
think that could potentially be very interesting. Year one, you probably still want to grow via neutrals, but like getting a global colonial alliance together to kill regionals
You
would also be a
don't
fun
need-
game.
You don't even need a global colonial alliance. As Portugal, if you ally with Aymara against Mapuche, you can do this very aggressive move to like deny Mapuche one growth center.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you, with your starting 16, can afford one less build way more than Mapuche with... Do they start with 5 or with 4?
4.
4. Yeah, so just percentage-wise, that's really strong.
Yeah.
Operating fleets on the Pacific Ocean is kind of strange. The wraparound map from the
Yeah, I
right to the
think
left.
especially
It does make
new
some
player.
borders seem very far away when in actuality they're very close. Mapuche is extremely close to Australia. And
Yeah, I would...
Tokugawa is very, very close to the Americas. Even Qing can potentially be, but it just doesn't seem like that.
Like
But,
Hawaii is reachable from Tokyo within 1 year.
Tora.
If you don't get bounced by Ute.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you can ask Spain for help.
Yeah.
Also, one
Ute
thing I
changed.
wanted to touch on with you, Inuit. We had a little bit of early press where we wanted to think about some anti-colonial alliances, which, I mean, of course, never really materialized. But yeah, so you go around the world saying you want anti-colonial alliances, and the only alliance you form in your region is with the colonial. Curious.
You take what you can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I
Yeah, I think if you had been
What's the
honest
point
about
of public
that
press despite propaganda?
I mean, if you had been honest a little bit more on that front, I might have even done the peace conference that comes later a little bit better, but I still will remain that was a good attempt. It could have worked.
Should we move to Formos?
I mean,
Yeah,
the
we've
thing was-
spent enough time here.
it's only been 2 hours.
One last
One.
thing. At first, I was friendly with Athabasca in France, and I thought like, yeah, I'm gonna ally with both, but I'm gonna stab one, or I will see who stabs me first. My preference was alliance with Athabasca, because if I am at war with Athabasca, I have bigger problems. So my plan was initially, if no one stabs me, I'm gonna ally with Athabasca and Ute against France and British. Yeah. So it did. So it was like a real thing, the anti-colonial stuff. But then, yeah, spoiler, I got stabbed. Okay, let's go to the next map.
One hour, 30 minutes later, we've got to fall. Nice.
We're about twice as fast as Diplostrats. Let's go.
Yeah,
Despite covering more
because it's
countries.
the autumn
Despite
starting
From a
covering more
map.
diplomacy
countries.
group, I expect nothing less.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing much going on there.
Then the autumn results.
The manual adjudication.
Who wants to start?
Well, as you can see, I moved towards Russia. Because I feared they wouldn't leave evens. And
If you listen very carefully, you can hear me cheering in the background as you do it.
And
Oh, I was also really happy with that one.
And I was so
Yes.
sure that
Yes.
Russia would just block me in Ikuri, because it would not cost him anything. And at that time, it would be 100% possible for them to just go, haha, gotcha. Also, we see a very early Ming aggression against Mughal.
I mean, to be fair, this was where they don't just MMR one, but the entire
Yes,
rest
Ming
of
and Mar
their
was kind
forces
of
were-
brutal here. I think they
Yeah,
got something
which-
in the next phase with a
Yeah,
potato
exactly.
prism.
And from that position onwards, I was saying, well, do you really have a claim to Uskin? Like, look at this. Come on.
Also, I have a question, Qing. I'm curious. I was very surprised you started with a piece with the Ming that lasted much longer than I expected to. How long were you planning for that alliance to last?
Honestly,
Like at this stage?
Honestly, I was thinking that I could work with Ming till the end.
Really?
I
Okay.
was wary of Japan because of their position. And the thing is, Russia got information after the turn from someone. I didn't knew if it was Ming, but I suspected Japan because Japan had very little press with me. And if, or rather when he had press with me, he was very cagey. And that led me down the path to, I have to attack them some time. Somewhere down the line. So I only attacked Ming after Mughal was halfway through the, and I was like, okay, I can't let Mughal have all the centers.
Yeah. One interesting
Alright.
thing is, especially with who we see this fleet moving to the North Pacific, but it came from Edo, so
Yeah.
why? Why not directly go there?
After reading the Void from Japan, I think he was just overwhelmed.
Okay.
Because he could easily get Okinawa. Like, tell Ming, hey, Amami is mine, Okinawa is mine, fuck off.
Yeah. You can. I mean, you could tell Ming that he's gonna help him into Formosa the next year. So that would have been a fair trade. I mean, kinda. Depends on your viewpoint, but yeah.
Yeah.
Do you need to
Okay,
go
going
already,
here.
Ottomans, or can we quickly do one last fall phase from you?
Bye-bye.
Oh, okay. No. Then goodbye and thanks for being here.
Bye.
I guess I will do it then. Most of this is standard. I just double. I maybe overplay my hand even a little bit in Derbent with support holding the Ottomans there already, but thankfully Russia didn't really pick up on that. There was one thing that cemented in my mind that I had to fight the Russians, and that all of their previous pleas of allying with me or partnering with me in any sort of way were dirty lies, and that was them supporting themselves into Turkestan is fine. Not trusting 100%, that's fine. I mean, I also don't trust them and support myself into Khiva, but supporting themselves from Akmola. I requested a lot time before the phase, please do it from Kazakh. We can have a very nice, safe border and we can work together. They said they will think about it, and they did it from Akmola. When questioned about it, they raised concerns about, oh yeah, no, they didn't need it in Akmola. It was nice for the king, more nicer for the king this way. Which, in hindsight, this is basically the declaration of war, which leads to the fact that afterwards in the next year, I think we immediately stab each other at the same time. He stabs me, I stab him. So
And Sweden gets
yeah.
attacked.
Yes. And that is similar to how there was a little bit of concern at a later point about Polish aggressiveness. From this point onwards, it was a lot. I constantly try to make Poland actually attack Russia, but they always just said no and instead worked with them instead. Sweden really got shafted here. They get only 2 builds this way because Gothenburg Scania goes ahead to cover Stockholm. That move from Poland to Scania was actually something I suggested to him. He said that he just let the dice decide in the end whether to go for Stockholm or Scania. But my idea was that Sweden would hopefully be bold enough to go for Copenhagen and then still get 3 builds. But I couldn't go to them and tell them, "Oh, I've told Poland they're gonna go to Scania. Don't cover Stockholm," because if it doesn't work, I look stupid, and if it does work, I can never have any trust with Poland ever again. And at this point, I'm still trying to get them to attack Russia.
Yeah.
So plan failed successfully.
Yeah.
I mean, from a Polish perspective, there's like no reason to go against Russia. Like, your alliance is working wonderfully.
Depends. Sweden
yes and
was
no.
clearly anti-Russian too.
Yeah, there was enough opportunities to instead ally with the Swedes and get into Russia. And especially later on, you can see that Russia moves everything to the east against me and Qing. They even give up the Caucasus relatively early, after a few years, and just completely focus there. Throughout all of that time, they could easily get those dots, but it made sense for them strategically, because as long as me and the Ottomans are also partially occupied with the Russians, he can expand against weaker powers like Austria.
Yeah.
Yeah, this second turn is already the beginning of the end for Sweden. Sad to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably Helsingfors maybe even needs to try to bounce Pskov year 1, and Stockholm just needs to go into Baltic. Like, whatever you decide, if you arrange a bounce or not, Stockholm needs into Baltic Sea. An enemy fleet in Baltic Sea is the end.
Yeah.
Sweden can be a strong defensive power, but especially early on, I think they're so weak.
Yeah.
Both of their Russian and Polish neighbors will have designs on their territory and can easily muster more units than them. And they can hurt Sweden, but like, what opening could the Swedes have done that could have damaged either Poland or Russia in the same way?
And this is very hard, especially
comes down-
since Sweden has no access to like Norwegian Sea and the Barents Sea in the start. Like they have to get to Trondheim first.
Yeah.
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 It would have worked if Austria was more aggressive toward Poland.
Yes, but Austria proved to be a very passive power this game,
Yeah.
sadly.
Olds and cores.
They also don't
Olds
bounce
and
Sweden out of
cores.
Strasbourg.
Yeah.
Not that that would have been a particularly great move, but still, they didn't fight or move against anybody.
I mean, Austria. I think Austria was one, very inexperienced, and second, tried not to make any enemies.
I mean, Austria is a very difficult power to play because you're squeezed in. All the colonials, or Ottomans is a semi-colonial, like they can just get progress somewhere else and dump all their builds into Europe to overwhelm you. Like you have to be
Yes.
very good with your like how you talk with your diplomacy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
But if you're looking at Europe, we could have 1 or 2 or 3 sentences from you, friends. Spyro is AFK.
No.
Or not.
I'm here. I'm here, but just
Nice.
my phone just rang. Give me a second. Give me a second. Just give me a second.
Yeah.
No problem.
So what I predicted exactly did not happen. England does in fact cover Plymouth and London.
Yeah.
As opposed to going for Ireland. And looks like France does get some nice Dutch support into Ghent. Very spicy.
This is
very
like
spicy.
absolutely. I don't get it. Why?
It's
The
like
Dutch
4D
were
chess
probably
or 5D
concerned
chess.
about Britain ignoring London and going for Amsterdam if they would have gone to Ghent.
Yeah, but
I don't agree with the reasoning. I'm just trying to think
mean-
what could be the thought process.
if
What then is?
Oh, just discussing you got some support into Ghent. And
Yes.
England apparently covered both their home centers.
Yeah. I cannot recall how was it that they supported me to Ghent. Maybe I gave them something elsewhere in the map, or they were afraid about what.
Maybe it was
England
South America, Kalina, Cayenne, something about
Could-
that.
could be.
Belém, you didn't bounce him in Belém.
Yeah, could be that. I cannot recall, but it was consensual, as you can see. So that was good. Other than that, it was as planned. I got the neutrals there. It's apparent my attack really impaired the English potential. They lost 2 builds really, having to cover. So, and this held them back for the rest of the game. So, pretty standard, I think. Everything else is.
Maybe let's look at America, how that one turned out between your two fronts.
Yeah, sure. Ooh,
What happened?
you zoomed
I
out.
don't know. So you clicked something.
Yeah, and we're in spring.
Oh.
And
Now
I
we are
think
right
I
again.
accidentally tapped the keyboard. But yeah, here we are again.
Okay. Going to our way, I think it was a bit aggressive towards the Ute. I was feeling that this is my. I mean, this caused a bit of friction in our press. They said, "What are you doing there?" I said, "I don't know. It's just took hops away from my core center, as it is, and it's 3 from yours, I think." Somehow they felt that this was by right there, so this put us on the wrong foot, and this remained so for the rest of the game. So, but I thought that it would be better if I set my foot, the farthest away I could, and then by building maybe securing Missouri, Ojibwe. Yeah, I'll do the same now if I had to do that again.
I like the cheeky support of Mohawk to Boston, thinking that Portland's going to self-bounce it. Kind of like Marcy
Yeah,
vibes.
that would be. I thought that he would maybe self-bounce in Boston, so I hope that I could hostile support him and get Mohawk.
Yep.
It
That
didn't
I
work.
am building a fleet against you.
But it did work out that he actually moved out of Mohawk, probably because he expected some sort of bounce or misorder.
No, he
The
moved
thing is,
Portland to Mohawk, and he did that to have 2 on Royale, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, this is never gonna work.
the thing is,
Oh.
he didn't cover Boston at all, so you could have just walked into there.
Yeah, it's the
What?
guesswork. The guess, you think I would think about this, and then he will think about that, and then I will think about this, and on it goes.
Yeah.
It's just a guess.
The Netherlands moving out of Philadelphia is a rather interesting move.
I guess he believes that it's gonna be his anyway because you're gonna build in New Amsterdam. So
Yeah, and if you
he's-
can secure Seneca, that makes somewhat sense because how could you guarantee it next year if you build in Fort Detroit?
yeah. Oh, this
Makes
rational
sense.
from their part. I think the best part was supporting the unit into Cree and denying the build to both of them.
Yes, that was perfect for you.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a smart decision from Inuit.
I think it was good
Okay.
for Inuit too. Because the Alpaskan had the
Yes?
first right to it.
Okay. Well,
Stop.
now I guess it's my turn to. I guess I'll start with Labrador. Like it going to Greenland, Gotthard is like the obvious move. NASCAP here stays here. Since I told France he can have anti-Karski in terms of like supporting me into this St. John, St. Anthony. Okay, the thing is, Athpaska had 2 units here on Cree, and Athpaska said, "I want Cree," and I said, "No, I want Cree." And Athpaska said, "Yeah, I need some SC," and like I said, "Yeah, you can have Ojibwa." And he like said, "What if the French take it?" So I had to like talk to the French and make sure the French didn't go to Ojibwa, and then tell Athapaska, "Yeah, I told the French that you want Ojibwa, so you can go there and leave Cree to me." And he said, "Yeah, okay." So I was expecting him to go like from Ojibwe to Ojibwe and refill using Mischief P. Well, turned out they didn't. And also, this to Nunavut, this is just pure aggression, you know? I was very angry about this. I think if I were back in that situation, I should have just used my fleet to go into Chipewyan. I don't know how that's pronounced. Yeah. The Athabasca going to Nunavut was, like, not nice at all. So I'm de facto, like, getting 2 centres here. And if we look into the west, yeah. Athabasca, because stabbing me, denied me the Nana. And also, I don't know why, but Ute decided to bounce me on Aleut. Like, why?
I mean, the reason
Doesn't
is
make
pretty
any
clear.
sense.
Ute was in an alliance with Athabasca against you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
To
planned.
quote
But, like,
France,
from my perspective,
everything
like-
that doesn't work is a diplomatic failure.
Yeah.
The king says that phrase.
Well.
I mean, yeah. So instead of doubling, I just got like +2.
Yeah, that's pretty much
And
the
that's
start of
that,
your
like-
downfall.
So, Anticosti, Ojibwe, and Hawaii are neutral after the first year. Intriguing.
No, Hawaii's not.
No, Hawaii isn't. Spain takes Hawaii.
Oh, look at that. How do?
And Ute immediately refills, which is a very interesting move.
Yeah, Ute goes for position over pure builds, which as Ute you can do. As
Well, they
many
can
other
guarantee
regionals
Hawaii
can't.
in the spring.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But
giving
you know,
you
as many
Aleuts,
other
build
as many
fleet
other-
Mohawk, and just take it off.
Yeah. I think this was a rather interesting decision to just let the fleet sit here and do nothing.
The Gulf of Mexico.
It's
a very key location. Like you look,
Yeah.
there are four SCs boarding it, and you don't want anyone. to
technically
participate.
5.
Yeah,
You
with
also
Havana.
have Havana.
Yeah, you don't want anyone in there.
I mean, if I would
It's a
have
little
been
connection to Florida
able,
Current, though.
I would
There's
have
little connections
talked
to
with Britain to get
Oh, yes.
Havana.
Yeah, but that's risky too.
If Spain
so
builds
makes
Ute
sense to
stabbed
St.
start
Augustine, they
wars
can
with
force Florida Current.
everyone. Yeah, you don't want to
Likely.
start wars with everyone. The thing that we maybe need to keep an eye on is how Poland gets into Barbados, and there's actually not a single other person around, and everyone just wants
Yeah.
to chill there.
And all the units from Spain in America, or half units, just stay put.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's no reason to move
Cartagena,
Cartagena
Gulf
to
of Mexico,
Caracas.
Apache.
I think it was
Yeah.
next turn when he forgot to move his units.
Yeah, I
Or
think so.
half of them.
I mean, ultimately, it would have probably been better to give England Jamaica, move Panama to Cartagena, the Army Cartagena to Caracas, and Gulf of Mexico to Havana.
Mm.
This way, England still gets two builds, but you get one more build.
Yeah.
And England is not in a position to stab you because they're getting attacked by France and even by Portugal. If you look at Bermuda
Yeah, that was
and India later
by
on, I
talking
don't-
with Portugal.
Yeah. That's a cheeky move.
Well, we can look at Abyssinia. Soup is here.
Yeah. I am.
Yes.
I mean, not much going on there. It's
Yeah.
basically, it's all just the two DMZs
You
kind of
hold it there. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I don't really because the idea was that Ottomans were going to take the Middle East, but and I didn't really want to interfere on the grounds that it might start a war. So I was like, I'll leave the fleet there to not antagonize anyone, and then completely backfired, so it doesn't even matter.
And don't forget a glue.
Yeah. So it's I mean it's all fairly what you'd expect, just taking stuff that like was agreed in peace deals and stuff, but that was about it.
Did Adran even want more Sengali in year 1?
No, they didn't. They just basically said you can have it. So that was interesting.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think the plan was because the Somalia switched out like mid-game, so I don't actually know what the long-term plan of the first player was.
No, that takes a bit longer until Somalia swaps.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I don't know what was going on really. I was just sort of taking land and being like, essentially trying not to start a war with the Ottomans. That was pretty much my plan for like the first 4 years of the game.
Yeah, also interesting to see them supporting themselves into Burundi instead of doubling.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think the idea was that they didn't trust Congo at all, so they were like, doing that, which which didn't end up mattering, but like, yeah.
Congo actually is able to switch into Fernando Po, and I actually anecdotally remember the Dutch being confused that the center, the non-SC they're currently standing in with the other army, NRE, that is actually not a supply center. They apparently confused it with Mandara.
Oh damn.
So also a very
That's
great start
sad.
for Dutch West Africa.
Yeah, very. Yeah, that area of the board gets is essentially rotates between the both of them for like most of the game.
Yep. And nobody challenges Mali. And
No,
Mali
not
actually
yet.
moves out of one SC to go into Sahara early.
Also, export move from Netherlands there.
Yeah, moving into the desert that is... I don't know what the province is called.
Is it a real life desert? Kalahari?
Kalahari.
Yeah, that's... what's it called? Namibia. That's 99% desert and a few diamond mines. That's why Germany got a colony there, because nobody else wanted it.
I think I'm not sure, but I could imagine that this is in misorder and like Netherlands actually wanted to...
Benguela would have been the better one, yes. Yeah, so I mean, it is a huge board, a lot of units early on. First game for quite a few players, we had a few beginners. It makes sense that we have a few misorders.
Yeah.
Also moving out of Sumatra, another Dutch misorder.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also Portugal stealing, what is that? Left. On
Left?
South America. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that is the start of the Portuguese-Dutch war that went on for quite a while.
Oh, you're talking about
I've looked at... Yes. I've looked at the like base map a bit. Portugal and Netherlands, of like the two colonials, are set up to be almost enemies everywhere. Because in every area where one of the two has a colony, the other one has one as well. Almost in every. They are set up to fight in Brazil. They're set up to be in conflict over in Africa, yes. Although in Africa is one of the areas where it maybe works the best. In India there's conflict. In Indonesia there's conflict. Even around China, there will be conflict between the two. as you can see there, yeah.
Or is it simply a diplomacy issue?
Yeah.
I mean, technically, both powers could cooperate and gain a few centers this way.
Yes,
It
technically.
requires huge
Like,
huge
The
stuff.
incentive to stab the other is like too big.
I mean, it's big, yes, but look at from the lens of colonials versus regionals. If the colonials tear up each other, the regionals win, and that was
And
happening in
that
our
is
game.
more or less what happened here.
Yeah,
Everyone except the French gets torn up, and the French are one of the people doing the tearing.
The French
Yeah.
and the Polish.
yeah. I mean, from the
The Polish
colonials.
start at 7. You at the start, at least, they're not a colonial yet.
I mean, they have 2 colonies and they are doing great there. They double
4.
in each colony.
Yep, because nobody's challenging them.
Yeah,
That is the strength of Poland. They are so small in the colonies that the locals think, yeah, he isn't the problem. Until he is.
well, but
I mean,
Uh,
there have been some earlier warnings, apparently.
well,
But yeah, some people wouldn't
some
listen.
people, maybe in this chat, predicted that maybe it's a bad idea to let Poland to its own devices.
I was actually referring to Austria there.
Yeah, that too. But, well, I think we can go to builds.
Yeah. Is this the builds already?
Only 1 hour and 45 minutes is it, and we finished the first year.
Oh no, this is the retreats thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
I think there was a single retreat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why do I have 2 retreat maps?
That
Probably some updated glitch. Whatever. Or you just
Yeah,
downloaded 2
Tyler
times.
made a lot of cleanups.
Yes. Which all looked very nice.
I think this still isn't the build.
No,
What the fuck?
this is still retreats.
I should have only one map per phase, and there was
No, this is
moves.
winter
Oh
start and
no,
results.
this is education start. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
This is winter start. You need to go to winter end.
Yeah, I do a lot of builds just to cover my butt.
Yeah. I think
Start on the build.
nothing too surprising from me. What is more surprising is all the Russian units. Like, I was fuck. If you look at that, there's so much concentration on Asia.
Yep, and everything on us. I mean, the 2 on Sweden and the rest on us.
Yeah. And this was the moment I was like, ah, shit. Hopefully neither Japan nor Ming is going to stab me.
Also, is there an error? Didn't I build a fleet already?
Who?
Safavid, didn't I build a fleet already in the first year on the Caspian?
Yeah.
Wait,
Bandarabas.
no, the Caspian Sea.
No.
No, I think that was the second year.
Okay, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, I built an every SC. That was the first trust moment, I think, between Ottomans and me. Not so much for me, because, I mean, if Ottomans would stab me, I mean, I'm in a position to do something about it. This could, of course, theoretically go very badly for the Ottomans, but Thankfully, mainly because of that Kazakh supporting Akmola to Turkestan move, I very clearly have an enemy I need to fight, and it's not the Ottomans.
Yeah.
And there you can see the fleet builds from the Ottomans. Actually, check the press on that one. And the claim was that, first of all, we're doing Mare Nostrum, so all fleets, which is very fun. The claim was that Constantinople, of course, also wants to go there, and that Trebizond is there to support whole Tbilisi, and against me, because, evil Safavid aggression. And if he would have built an army, that would have been akin to a declaration of war against me, and he really couldn't do that. So, that was our sell.
I mean, it
somewhat worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Russian demands to completely demilitarize the Black Sea makes sense on the surface, but in practice it is completely senseless because it is completely to the detriment of the Ottomans and only benefits Russia. And I guess Poland once they reach the coast.
And the Russians can't enforce it. That's the main part.
Yes. What are they gonna do? Without a fleet, they can't even attack Tbilisi without me helping.
Yeah. Oh my.
Our builds... France builds a lot as well, also a lot in Europe.
Spyro?
What?
Yeah.
Sorry guys, I just boarded the taxi. I'm on the move now.
No worries. Any specific comments on your builds in year one?
I cannot recall. I think I just spread them all around because situation was uncertain in all areas. So also I almost doubled, I think. So
You grew quite strong.
I could afford to have new units in all my colonies. Nothing special, I think.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Also, interesting thing that the Polish also
Building
doubles in the colonies, builds fleets on both ends.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's go look at Inuit. I mean, I got stabbed, but I only have 2 builds, so what I do? First, my capital is endangered by Nunavut. I have to, build something there. And building an army is, nonsense. Because, everywhere you can go with an army, you can also go with a fleet. So I built a fleet. And the second thing is you pick. Because at this point it is very bad because I have a 2-front war against Athabasca and Uta. And yeah. Also, the Athabascan said oh, Nunavut, it's this and Cree, I said I wanted to go Cree, blah blah blah. And Nunavut, I thought you were gonna stab me and blah blah blah. But then they built a fleet. If it wasn't obvious before that they stabbed me, it is. How can you interpret a fleet if not anti-Inuit? Yeah. Also, the 2 fleet builds from Uta, very aggressive.
Yeah, the alliance between the two is really working out for both of them.
Yeah, like they have a massive DMZ, like Chinook, Gros Ventres, Assiniboine, Winnipeg, Dakota. Like, this is a great DMZ. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's geography really encourages both of them to work together. Similar, I think, to Ottomans and Safavids. There are possible points of contention, but nowhere are two SCs of you bordering each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a massive problem at that point. Because my only ally I could have theoretically was France. I mean, that was against my plan of anti-colonialism, but what I gonna do? So, yeah. That's it.
Great. I think Abyssinia can only build 3 armies.
Yeah, that was about it.
Because 3 builds and Mekali is covered, so...
Abyssinia? Where's Abyssinia?
The brown blob on
in
Africa.
Ethiopia.
Oh. I thought that was Azuran.
What?
Bro.
Cyclo, are you drinking? I am drinking.
Are you even of drinking age?
10 Liter Bier und dann geht das.
We assume Cyclo can drink. And even then, we're in Germany. Like,
yeah. Good argument.
Yeah.
take
Anyways,
this and trash.
Yeah, the 3 army builds. I mean, what else you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Any thoughts on that?
No, but this is where the glue drinking starts. So from here, it only gets worse.
I thought you said you sniffed the glue.
Oh no, no, it's this.
In
I was
Germany-
sniffing it before. This is where it begins.
In Germany, we say we drink liquor.
Of course, yeah.
Wie viel Lack hast du denn gesoffen?
Ja.
Entschuldigung.
Well then,
like
let's
Cypher to
head to the next year, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Come
Only
on.
2 hours.
Speed up.
We're browsing through just how
That's
many years
record
left?
time. Like
We
20? Not 20, but 15?
when did we end?
Like 56 or something like that?
Yeah. 14 years to go.
1655.
55.
13 years to go.
I mean, 26 hours left in this call.
I say this will probably be a multi-part series, but don't quote me on that.
We need to find some
Okay.
good names like Ezio's Pain and Game.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, there was a map error. Tehran was actually a fleet build because it now moves into the sea.
Ah.
But yes, please start with Qing. Then we
That
have,
was a map error.
Dum, dum, dum.
Yeah, that's why we had the second map probably.
Well, as you can see, the war has started.
Yes,
And
so it
I
begins.
bounced with Tokugawa. This was actually talked about, and it was so counterproductive. Like, we bounced for 2 or 3 times, and it achieved nothing. Like, I could had Strategy, could see an NPO, or to Koyaks, or any other place. But, well, you learn. And a lot of red things.
Yeah. You didn't get into evens?
No.
Russian and into Chukchi. And back to evens. You did get into Buryav.
Hmm.
Despite him tapping you. You bounce in Gobi.
Yeah. Yeah. Ming was going to help me here. I think his plan was to go and do so. And after that, going after Russia. And what I found is the Ayuhatya and Ming support for Mughal.
Yeah, I think this is the point where Mughal got swapped out, and being a swap-in player is actually, I think, really, really good, because even if you hated the previous player, you're not gonna immediately stab the guy who just swapped in.
Yeah.
Debatable.
And also what helped Mughal
Spoilers.
it's like... It's
Yep,
like...
Portugal and England are also fighting over there.
Yeah.
Which Mughal is very good at exploiting. I get Muscat easily. Because why not?
Them
Portugal,
fighting
the
India.
Netherlands at war. Mapuche sneaking in.
Yeah.
Mapuche, Australia. And somebody is entering Chukchi Sea.
I think it's Inuit.
Yes.
Using Japanese support. Let me see.
Going to his...
Oh no!
It's
That's Ute. Oh yeah! The Japanese also went against me. Yay!
Right, I remember. They had very good relations. At least the first Tokugawa and Ute.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more luck,
I mean-
Sechael.
Yeah, I had
Everyone
no
was
allies
against
despite France. But, like, as we will see in the fall, France stabbed me for fucking one center. Yeah. I mean, I did get into Alewoods in spring, but I wouldn't be able to hold that because
Yeah.
he got into Chukchi. Interestingly, I did be able to get into the Niner. And also, what is this move? Nunamut to Powdertook. This, like, I don't know what he was thinking,
I mean,
but
it
I
helps
guess...
guarantee the conquest of Alaska, but it is
Yeah,
somewhat bold,
that was also
because
my
now you
thinking,
can
like,
force
he
the
wanted to...
actual.
Yeah, wanted to concentrate
And
there.
you can't get Sadik.
Yeah. I mean, Salik doesn't, equalute, but... I mean... Yeah. He went into Cree. France went into Anticosti. This is like... just a bunch of mess. France went into Ojibwe.
France
And
also goes into
Spain
Boston.
did a very good job.
Oh yes, this is the start of the nice expansion from Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, the two Polish fleets do really hold power here, especially if there's nothing around it.
Yeah,
The funny thing is how this butterfly effect will affect the game for the years to come.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think the European units were moved pretty much.
Yeah. And when
Or
I
just
talked
some.
with Spain, he said, like, he did the European units, and then he forgot that he also had colonies.
Yeah.
Be me. Start
The
as the
average
biggest
European
colonial
emperor.
Be me. Start as the biggest colonial power. Forgets. Oh, I have colonies. Ah, fuck him.
Yeah, and we see.
We do see a lot of chorus starting this year,
Yes.
especially in the peace regions. I mean, you can afford it. Yeah. Interesting that Motorhold here without coring. Yeah.
Yeah,
Spain
I
just
should have.
messed up here.
Especially early on, a few people just held in the assumption that it would core without entering the appropriate command.
Yeah.
And one thing I have to respect Portugal for, they are the only ones that actually attack Poland in the Gambia.
Oh. Yeah.
But as
That's
you
interesting.
can see, there's somebody knocking on Portugal's door.
And there
What a
comes
shame.
Mali.
Yep.
Yeah.
With a steel chair.
I mean, at this point, if I were Poland, I would have also worked with Mali to kick the Portugal out, the Portuguese.
Yeah, but the smart thing for Mali would be to work with Portugal for one turn, take one of Poland's centers, then work with Poland the next turn, take one of Portugal's centers, then they're both down to one, and then you can easily take them both, and profit. No more colonials.
Yeah.
I mean, I say easily, it's never that easy, of course. At least in theory. Yeah, Netherlands gets unlucky with the moves around Congo again.
Yeah.
South America is a mess.
I mean,
For now, it's relatively simply Aymara and Mapuche together against Portugal.
Yeah. And
Which
it seems
makes
to work
sense.
quite fine.
They are a threat to both of them.
This three-way bounce is very interesting.
Especially seeing as France is technically allied to Netherlands. That is another thing why France,
Yeah.
I never really trusted your ally thingies, because I looked at how your partnership or alliance, whatever you want to call it, with the Dutch went, and at least from my perspective, apart from them keeping their homeland, you never helped them anywhere.
I don't think this is accurate. If I can recall, this was arranged, this bounce there with them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I cannot recall the reasoning. I never betrayed or misguided the Dutch ever.
Okay, yeah, that is of course possible. Just from my perspective, looking out
Yeah, of course.
at the results, I always saw the Dutch losing and losing and losing while you gained, and so I assumed the partnership wasn't particularly fruitful for them.
It was not of my making, and the only area where they grew was in North America with my help, if you notice. So
that's true, yes, but they have their 3 units or something like that, and they're just always stuck holding against the Utah. So
they got to 4 before they form a front with me. I mean, the alternative would be for them to just, be wiped out, because Ute was a superior power.
Yeah, the Dutch is also really difficult to play, because apart from some areas like Indonesia, you have a lot of presence all over the globe, but most of the areas it is somewhat weak. The only area where you're really dominant is Indonesia.
Very, very.
But I mean, if Portugal wanted to kick you out, he can just ally with the Spain and Ayutthaya.
Yes,
So-
exactly. Even that relatively strong position of yours is still not as strong as maybe like France's position in Canada, just from SC count.
Yeah.
Like the Dutch start with 3 over here. I think French Canada starts with 5 or something like that.
The Canadian, the French Canadian presence is the most substantial colony, I think, of all colonies.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's a stronghold and can be the basis for growth. I mean, Caribbean is a joke, of course. North America is a joke, of course. Even Madagascar is very, very hard to develop. But yeah, Canada it's unique, I think.
I mean,
Maybe-
you have
maybe
like
s-
2 powerhouses, and they are actually quite near each other. You can just exchange stuff via the North Atlantic Ocean.
North Atlantic, that's
So-
correct. I think Spain has a pretty good presence in Central America, and
Yeah.
if the player was more capable, didn't NMR and so on, they could build out from that. I think Ezio did that in the other board, playing Spain, and showed
Yes.
how this can be done.
Yeah, Spanish weakness, specifically on the colonial front, really like butterfly effects away in this game.
Yeah. So
And,
Spain was stronger. Uther wouldn't be that likely to fight against me, and my chances against Athabasca would be better. And
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely. And in much the same way, the Caribbean would have a very different dynamic and everything. Yeah. Spain.
only
was
with the
a bit
Polish,
unfortunate.
especially
Yeah.
because the
The
Polish
only
getting into
reason why
Caracas is like
Poland can do stuff here is because Spain just. I think they even MMR a second turn after that as well, or like 2 turns after
Mhm.
that, and they don't challenge them when they start coring Caracas and Barbados. Yeah, it's really a
Yeah.
shame. I think we haven't looked at my Russian front yet. I think.
What?
Yeah.
Yes, because
What?
things happen.
Safavid. The green thing between Mughal and
Safavid.
Yes.
Yeah.
I work together with the Ottomans to stab them. As you can see, the Russians also try to offer the Ottomans support into my center, which also doesn't work. And my fleet into Caspian also does great things afterwards. I am still in a little bit of a bad position because he can slip into Turkmenistan. I don't think I could really have stopped it in any way possible except building the fleet in Tabriz instead, but then I couldn't advance into the Caucasus. So this was basically the way I wanted to do it. Russia later claimed he was unaware that fleets could be built in the Caspian and otherwise would have built one. It would have been an interesting dynamic to see if he had actually built one, but it would have just resulted in us literally endlessly bouncing over there and nothing happening. So this way it was a
even
bit
as a
more
name?
dynamic.
It would have resulted in a like sort of a mind game, like you want to bounce, and then on the second turn you want to not bounce, so you can build a second fleet, and so on.
Yeah. I managed to dislodge Turkestan. That move was basically made with the idea I force him to support whole Turkestan because otherwise I dislodge him. Except he lets himself dislodged, retreats into Uskan. And now I'm sitting in the very bad position of Turkestan is surrounded with Kazakh and Akmoda. An enemy army is in Uskan, Bukhara is free. An enemy army is in Turkmenistan, Tehran is free.
Yeah.
I am at 10 units, but I mean, 2 of them are fleets in the south and can't do anything against Russia anyway. But yeah, I'm not
See,
in the
you
best of positions.
did you stab the Portuguese, or was this arranged?
No, I told Portugal that because he was so nice to move away, I would only take it in O2, and so I already quickly now took it to make sure he could never stab me. I did uphold my agreements with the Mughals, and therefore I didn't move into Gulf of Oman. Maybe to my detriment. Possibly I should have moved in there, still not stabbed him, but basically pointing a gun at him to make sure that he does not stab me, because now he can very much see what the consequences of that would be. But
Yeah,
in
you're
the end, you're always smarter.
spoiling. But yeah.
Yeah. That thing develops, and that will be a very interesting front for a while. And over in East Africa, we can also see the Ottomans moving to secure what's left of Yemen, and Abyssinia expanding into the heart of Africa.
Yeah. Abyssinia.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was.
did
I'm
some.
just midway through doing something. Yeah, no. So the same thing as before. Basically, just trying to get like centers, capture as much as quick as possible, and then spread my troops around. So kind of lock down my thing while the other two African powers basically fight the Europeans.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we did. This is where my debate with Mali began, because they weren't supposed to take Canem in our big like deal we had, but they did, and it's going to become a much bigger problem later on, because it kind of, that's where like everything gets pushed through, and I sort of ignore it up until it becomes too late, and then it kind of like, that's how I get eliminated effectively.
Yeah.
But that's a spoiler for later, so I won't elaborate.
Well, any other moves we should look at?
I don't think so. I think it's mostly
West Africa, everything gets bounced. That's funny to look at.
Yeah. France is on a good way to secure Madagascar, but yeah.
Yeah, Oceania War.
Oceania is big mess. Utah. Interesting move choices. Oh, this is very interesting.
Yeah, that's
This
what we talked
double
about at the beginning. Like, as Benny pointed out, that when Potato subbed in, people had them.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
makes sense, because you do want people to sub in into games, but yeah. It is very much to his benefit. And to be fair, with the very rough first year he's had, he can use a bit of the help.
He should have died.
Okay. And let's go to the next.
Oh yeah, also Sweden is dying.
I love how it's just saying winter.
Yeah,
this is still the retreats.
Yeah, this is the retreats from spring.
As the retreat starts, this is the retreat's result. Why does it already say spring?
And we're in autumn.
Yes.
Autumn start. We can go to autumn moves. Yes.
Oh yes.
Okay, let's start in East Asia again.
as you see, the bouncing will continue until morale improves. Yeah, pretty much. I go to Evans. I was able to slip a unit into. Saka goes to Buryatia, but I evade into Indigirka. And what was their deal? I think there was no deal at that time. There was a deal. Like, I was talking, I get evens, and I don't move to Gobi. That was the deal. And still, Russia attacked me.
I mean, if I were Russia, I probably also wouldn't have trusted you.
Yes, but if
Fair.
you can very quickly see now, Russia is now at war with all of their neighbors except Poland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I move my army to Shenzhen because I haven't trusted Ming at that point. Like, the fleet in Belize Sea could have attacked Shenzhen.
Yeah.
And I don't really know why I haven't caught with my unit in Pyongyang. It's sitting there for a quite while before I start coring. And even then, it takes like the next 4-5 years until I go through the core there. And what you also can see, Japan is going for Koyaks.
Yeah.
And isn't doing very much with his troops.
Interesting choice of
on
Russia
the
here.
Koyaks move-
His fleet.
I actually have a little bit of backstory because I originally wanted you, Inuit, to pressure the Russians in the Chukchis area. And so, with
Yeah.
you not being there and Ute being there, I did my press with them and asked them to take it instead because it was guaranteed. There's nobody else that could get to it, apart from Japan, but I didn't tell him that way. And he only responded to me with, he will ensure that it is taken. In that case, he probably meant he talked with his ally and made sure that his ally goes there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
still, in the end, it's one less center the Russians have access to, and is important.
And we see the Ayutthaya Mughal step on Ming. And the Great
Yes.
War beginning.
Yes,
Ooh,
the
yeah.
potato is not a very thankful neighbor. After Ming helped them in, he promised Ming that he would help him against Ayutthaya and promised Ayutthaya to help him against Ming, and it seems like he decided to help Ayutthaya in this case. As you can
If I
see,
remember
Ming is
correctly,
going
he told
against
me,
Ayutthaya.
He throw the dice.
Come
Yeah.
again?
If I remember correctly, Potato told me he threw a dice. Who
Yeah,
to support.
Might as well work
Yeah.
with at least one of them. And we can see him also, Portugal is helping him into English centers. And yeah, he's having a great time.
It's here.
Yeah, not much going on.
Australia being uncontested. Yeah.
Ah, yes, now we see France supporting Netherlands into Cape and getting the rest of Madagascar because Portugal would rather focus against Ajuran.
Yeah. Portugal's pretty much losing at this point, especially here in South America.
Yes, however, their fleets going further south into Atapasca will still poke some headaches for him for quite some time.
Yeah. And
And
Spain
notably, Spain is back, but does nothing
with
against.
genius moves.
Yes,
Expert play.
yes. Great.
Yeah.
Also, still doesn't do anything against Poland.
Yeah, I mean,
And
he went
here,
against.
France moves into 2 Dutch centers, which, again, with my limited information, I thought that was a stab.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly looks like a stab.
But it's not, because it was agreed. I supported them into. I think I cannot remember the exact
You supported him into Cape Town,
correct, and another thing I did. I cannot remember what. was
probably
it.
in North America.
Yeah, and the idea was that I would bounce the who was going into. Can you go to South America?
South?
Yeah. Okay. I was expecting to bounce the Polish into Parmurbo. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
went. Yeah. So I said, you know what? Probably gonna lose it because it's uncontested. How about I try to bounce the Polish there? And they didn't go in. They went back to their center for some reason.
Yeah, they
So
were concerned about
probably to core it.
England going after them. No,
Yeah.
England is sitting with an
Oh.
army in Guadalupe.
Yeah.
But
The only logical
What
place
does
that
this
they go
army
is probably
even
this.
do here?
Nothing.
It's like the worst place for an army to have.
I mean, it's islands, so it has a use.
Yeah, but
hold.
it's stuck on that island.
I mean, it could technically go Barbados, New Holland, down there, if there was a supporting fleet in the Caribbean.
But yeah, it was on the stub in Parmurbo. It was supposed to be a potential bounce with the Polish. And Belém was a swap with South Africa. So
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
And we see Portugal in the Gambia also being killed by the Mali thing. Oh yeah, Rockall is.
Yeah.
that's why you didn't
Interesting.
see. That's why you didn't see the Dutch ever attacking me as a countermeasure. You know, the whole game, because I never really harassed them in a way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You see here in Central Europe the massive coring. Also, this triple bonds and a rockal rise. Very interesting. But
Yep.
why is France in Plymouth?
Why not?
Yeah, it's
I
fit
mean,
in,
yeah, why
last year.
not?
Why not?
Oh, Russia tries to get into Trondheim.
Yep, Russia and Poland are working together against Sweden and are doing quite a number on him.
Yeah.
He is finally able to get something into Baltic Sea again, but loses Finland and Umea in the process. Really quite a sad time. Also, Poland is starting to work with the Russians, as you can see in Bakhchisarai, but we can successfully get both Astrakhan and Shasha, with the Russians being able to retreat into Tsaritsyn, which they do, but obviously we can just blow them up there afterwards.
And what's really painful is if you look at Austria, Poland is so vulnerable at this point.
Poland is completely open and Austria is holding everything.
Yeah.
Silesia zips, then Ruthenia, Krakow, Warsaw, and
I mean,
it's
if
done.
I were Austria, I probably would have made a deal with the Ottomans against Polish.
I mean, you are working with the Ottomans anyway against the Spanish in Naples, as you can see. So might as well move against the other Ottoman enemy, that is Poland.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the Ottomans are making some great progress over there. And I actually hold my front somewhat. Like, I obviously need to cover Tehran. I obviously also need to cover Herat. I think I might have even asked Mughals to go to Hisar, expecting it to be a bounce, because I expected Russia trying to go into Bukhara, which they didn't end up doing. However, they dislodge my army from Turkestan. But that is very much a blessing in disguise, as you will soon see.
Yeah,
And yeah, Russia completely overcommits to that move. There's 4 units working on dislodging a single unit of mine that can only be support held from one other point.
Mm.
I mean, he could have suspected you working together with Mughals.
Yes,
And,
but then Turfan could have, if you suspected, then Turfan should have gone to Yarkand, and this moveset would actually have slipped into Yarkand from the backside.
Mm.
So if you really expect
Turfan
Mughals to work.
scoring here is basically a luxury.
Yeah. At this point, they are also trying to get the Mughals to attack me, but at least for the moment, Mughals stay on my side, more or less.
Yeah. The great Oriental bounce.
Yeah.
Once again.
Yeah, that is really the highlight of that year.
Well, I guess we can. Is it already fall? Is it winter? I don't know.
This is fall.
Fall.
We can see Abyssinia starting to fight Mali.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Marley basically tried to stab, just directly, like not even. There was no like discussion. It just sort of happened. And I basically went to Congo and said, "Will you support me if I go to war?" And said no, and also I will invade you if you try and invade Mali. So I was a bit stuck, which was a bit of a problem, despite the fact they had a war going on. They basically said, "We're going to put I'll take Mandara if you try and invade Mali." So I was a bit stuck. In terms of what I was going to do. So what I should have done is really committed to it by just like going all out because I had more troops, but I didn't think of that at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a great move from me overall.
Also, I think here I planted my first lie with you in telling you that Ottomans wanted Red Sea to go to Mekele. That was a false info from the Ottomans to hopefully get you to not slip into like Aden or something behind, or do a convoy from Ausa through Tadura to Kafir.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was sort of trusting anyone who said anything at that point because I was a bit like, I have no allies. I need someone who I could trust, and then it was.
I mean, if my game plan would have been to eventually fight the Ottomans and therefore find potential allies against the Ottomans, I probably wouldn't have done something like that. But at this point, my game plan was already pretty set on Ottomans and me is ride or die. We are together until the end.
I mean, it was around here where Russia started coming to me to be like, could you backstab the Ottomans for me? And it was like, okay, maybe I might do that, maybe not, we'll see.
Yeah, we also had a lot of conversation about that. But thankfully, for me at least, the Russians aren't really the best at making friends.
No, they were not.
It didn't help that they had like 3 different players.
Yeah, that does.
In a way, each one worse than the next. Like the first one was friendly to me. The second one told me, "Submit to my rule or I kill you," which I didn't. Strange.
Strange. How could that happen?
Yeah.
Completely unforeseen.
Over here, French stabbed me for 1 center. Thank you very much.
It is a pretty nice center.
Yeah, that was the only general thing I did the whole game, I think. And I said, first opportunity, I'm gonna flip it back to you, which I never did. So double story.
I see you managed to get us up for Pascal capital, at least.
Yeah.
a bit.
Yeah, and I think after that phase is where I start my first Terran Peace Conference, because if we look at Alaska, things are not looking good for you.
I mean, there were some things I could do. Thing is, I could have used this as leverage, but I think your priority is that I stop war with Athabasca and go against the Russians to help you.
Yes, also I was at that point already concerned about France's very powerful position. I looked at England and thought it's just a matter of time until France kills England, and I at that point saw the Dutch as basically France's vassal. So in my mind, my alarm bells were already ringing and thinking, I need to make sure that France doesn't run away with the game while everyone else is distracted. So I wanted to get you three tribes to work together against them, and if not conquer all of their centers, at least keep them hemorrhaged into Eastern America. And in my mind, it was great to, I could maybe make them take Alaska, because they would take Alaska anyway. Without negotiations or otherwise, they would always take Alaska. But maybe this way we could achieve some sort of peace, and and what you would get instead is Russian centers as compensation.
The thing
It
is,
didn't quite work out, but it did give you 1 year of breathing room, which allowed you to slip out into the world.
The thing is, the deal was basically, I give up on Alaska, and I also give up on the Athabascan capital, and I give up on everything else. Like, I have, like, these 3 home centers left. Oh, no. It's still 3.
Yeah, you still 3 home centers, but at least in my version, you also get Sardik, so the loss of the Athabascan capital is not a net loss for you. You only lose the your 2 home SCs in Alaska, but only after. But in exchange for those 2 home centers, you get Chukchis and the other Koryaks, the other center in.
The thing is,
Russia. In my mind, if I don't do this deal, they will simply just kill you, and well, then I don't have an American power to help me.
The thing is, that was actually, I had something else in mind. I would also have negotiate beats, but I don't know how you did it, but you managed to convince me that this was actually a great idea to go against the Russians and give up on everything else. And I don't know why, but the more I think about it, the worse the idea gets. You know? I have a strong bargaining chip. I have the Athabascan capital. I can, like, if they take Alaska, I just move west. Like, I take the whole Athabascan home centers, and then
you have a single army. I mean, let's be relative. You have a single army on the entire continent. You all just have fleets instead. You can't take any other SC from the Athabascans.
The thing is, the other
army is currently getting dislodged by the French on the other side of the world.
Bro really said, nah, I'd win.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I felt. I was really confused with your insistence on, no, I'm actually in a really good position here.
I mean, the thing is, if I don't want to, they can there's almost no way that they can take back their capital. No?
They build armies. They build. They built 2 armies this year anyway, if right? They get 3, they get 1 center in Alaska. In any case, they built 1 more army. They can cover both of their other home SCs by building in 1 and moving the other Alaskan army over there. And then they can simply just surround it and eventually get it with all of their armies. Plus the fleet that is still on the board if they don't disband that. I don't know, did we manage to make them disband the fleet?
Yes.
I think yes.
But-
See, that's another peace condition.
No, the thing is that
With them
was
disbanding the fleet
discussed,
and
but
not
I would
having
have
fleets,
forced it anyway.
they can't kill you. No, you wouldn't have forced it. It would have retreated to the other land province next to it, and you could have never
No.
destroyed it.
No,
It would have gone.
It was blocked by its
No.
own army.
No,
By what army?
look at the moves.
Yeah. They can retreat to
No.
Mikludel.
Yeah,
Yes.
they did. They did. It did. So I had to move my fleet there separately to kill them.
Can you?
Okay, then
can you
maybe
do
the peace
retreat?
negotiations happened later. I don't quite remember which
It
year it
Happened
was.
right now. It started right now, but
I mean, yeah, it's started now, but didn't conclude because yeah,
yeah, but like
it was a
the
lengthy
Alaska
negotiation.
said like, yeah, I'll take Alaska, but I'll also bully you there because I can. You already gave me Alaska. What you gonna do?
Well,
I mean,
Cyclone.
it took a while before you actually gave him Alaska, though. So still,
Also, it was pretty clear that you were on the losing side of this battle. At the moment, Uta and Afapaska stubbornly worked together from the start.
yeah.
Yeah.
At least in
I
my
had
mind, if
some
there's a scenario in which
negotiation chips,
Atapaska
though,
can
to-
never have fleets and you have the only northern fleets against the colonials, that is your ticket to survive in that three-way relationship. Just be
Yeah.
the fleet power in the north. If
But
you can ensure that
Atapaska
Atapaska can't
didn't-
build northern fleets.
that.
Yeah.
From the retreats, I did manage to retreat into the Yakutat Bay, which gave me another bargaining chip because I can just get on their nerves there. They can't easily get rid of me. I mean, it is possible, but it is very difficult and would
Aren't we in
used
fall?
up a
Don't you
lot of
need to
their
disband
power.
some units anyway?
Hmm?
Isn't this a fall retreat, so you need to disband some units anyway?
I mean, I made a gain in the Athapascan home center, and I think I haven't lost
yeah, and you
anything
lost, well,
despite
Yeah, you lost one
the
extra
French
center.
slab, and
Yeah.
I got an extra center in Greenland.
Yeah, okay, so you're
So
probably
it wasn't
building in your
looking
capital.
too bad. I didn't manage to build
Yeah.
anything, but I also didn't have to disband anything. So, I could, we could go on with this war, and you will probably gonna win, but it will take you, 5 years and a big part of your power, which you could use somewhere else. It was, my idea of a negotiation.
I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair, you were still free to do the negotiations as you wished. It was an offer from me, and apparently my led negotiations were the thing that worked, at least had some sort of agreement there at the end.
I mean, you managed to convince me. I gotta give you that.
Yeah, also, as you said, like the 5-year war. If you guys, at least Atapaska and you in it, constantly fighting, and at least part of the Ute forces distracted in that, France will
Yeah,
just
that was
grow.
my bargaining chip. That was my bargaining
Yes,
chip.
Yes, but I didn't like that. That was against my interests.
You aren't even in America. What are your fucking interests? Come on.
Yeah, France is in Madagascar. France is relevant to me. The world is interconnected. The world is very much interconnected.
Just
France and
deglobalize
Madagascar
the
is
world.
concerning.
Come on. Madagascar is still a long way from your home centers.
Yes, but that's my expansion route.
You're basically role playing as the CIA.
Selling drugs
No,
to the
it was
Inuits.
called a peace summit. That can't be CIA.
We bring peace and democracy to the world and make money.
Did you retreat into
Oh,
Yarkand?
never mind. That
Oh.
was a retreat into Yarkand. Okay, never mind. Then the move with Mughals definitely wasn't coordinated, and them moving into Hissa was the first minor step, so I punished them by taking that center.
Bruh.
Yeah, that was the first little step. I remember now. After that, we
you
actually
could have exploited
made a deal
that
and
to
actually
go into Kabul and even further.
yeah,
Really?
exactly. But they built in Kabul. The problem is I can't fight both Russia and Mughal at the same time. Mughal has just picked a fight with Ming and is still not done in the south. So we come to a agreement that is actually good for both of us, where we do decide on peace and work together against the Russian for a
Yeah.
while. And that is actually a really good thing. And I have a quote here. I mean, not literally, but I have a quote from his void where he's arguing with his country's back, and it's basically saying, yeah, I could have continued working with the Safavids and probably won, but it's more fun if I now stab him and try for a solo. And I gotta respect that. And to be fair, it was really unfair that Mughal is now not also sitting at this leaderboard of the game at the end, because they did play
Yeah.
a really nice, good game.
But no more spoilers. Let's go further.
Goddamn spoilers.
I mean, I gotta give you some sort of work for cutting stuff out.
Well,
I won't sit through all these hours of footage. You can't make me do that.
Can we go to builds?
I can make you do that.
Yeah.
I can't make.
I
I
think
will.
I'm just gonna use FFmpeg to like put the audio and the visuals together and slap it on YouTube, and that's it. Maybe put a little bit of background music and hope it's not copyrighted.
Kevin McLeod for the win.
Yes. Used that myself multiple times.
You can send me a link.
Well, as you can
Oh
see,
yeah,
I
Evan's
have
Ghost
a lot of
Army.
builds.
What?
Look at the army in Evans. It's floating.
It's escaping.
Ooh.
SCP.
It's trying to
71.
go to Yukagia. Yay!
Yes.
Bot issues. Yeah, as you can see, my
Yeah, also
position...
that is where on the
Is there
bots
two
your
there?
Pyongyang fleet moves from one coast to the other.
But as you can see,
I
my
mean,
position
you-
hasn't really improved at that point in the game.
Schrödinger's fleet. Unless you do something with it, you don't know if it's on the west coast or the east coast.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
Well,
we don't
well.
have any Russian builds either. At least at my side of the border.
Yep, they built
Yeah.
against
He has
me
two
instead.
builds. I think he disbanded some on your side to be able to build.
No, he got 2 Swedish centers and he got Turkestan and Uskin.
If I remember correctly, he like disbanded one of here. Like, I don't know.
Might have
Evens
also
did he
been the case.
disband?
Yeah, I think one
Yeah, I
disband
think he-
because in the Caucasus we also took 2
Yeah,
or 3.
I think
No, I
he
think we took
disbanded
3. 2
because
of
we
him, yes.
came to an agreement at that point for temporary peace. And it was like the moment the players switched for the first time.
Yeah, that might have been the case.
Yeah. Well. Why did the Ottomans build another fleet here?
Why not?
Because
Like,
building
you
an
don't even
army
have
would be
place
against
for
me.
another fleet.
No,
The
you do.
Suez
Sea of
Canal
Azov.
opens up very shortly.
Sea of Azov, because the fleet in Don is engaged in Bakhtjisaraj. He could have, of course, built an army as well, but that would have been slower to get to the front. And a fleet never can hurt me, so it helps our alliance. The fleet built there makes
Okay,
sense.
fair
The
enough.
fleet built in Athens is maybe overkill.
See you, Sparrow.
Where?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
the CU.
I need to go, guys. This was fun, truly. Great playing with
Yes,
you, and
absolutely.
see you on the next one.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
Spyros.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well.
Yeah. I think there were no major surprises in builds this year.
Probably not. I
But
mean,
our friends
Poland
build a lot in the
continues
colonies.
building in the colonies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uncontested.
Poland expanding.
Yep.
he's gonna start coring soon, I think.
Hmm.
Yep.
Unchallenged.
I got no builds, no disbands. Athapaska got one
No,
build.
you built a fleet in Alaska.
Yeah.
Wait, where did I get a build?
You only lost neutral centers. You didn't even core yet, and got the capital of Athapaska and Greenland, second Greenland center.
Oh,
That's
so
+1.
I was actually gonna win.
No, I don't think that means that. Look, count the amount of enemy units around you again. You're not gonna win.
Fuck. Nah, I'd win. Inuit.
Trust the plan.
Slowly crumbling to death.
Yeah. Also, hello,
Red
Poland.
alert, red alert. We got
got a build.
Kielbasa in the stream. Kielbasa entering the stream.
What are
Hello,
you smoking,
Poland. How are you
Emil?
doing?
Well,
Yeah.
let's head to the next year, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
And as we're talking about Poland, hello.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Hello, and good evening.
So, spring
Wanna
moves?
tell us about something in your moves? Let's look at Poland.
Well, Swedish killing time.
Yep. Sweden is dying, but Austria is finally doing something for the first time in the game.
Oh, I remember this.
For the first time in game, they are actually doing something.
First thing they do is to fight me.
Yeah, I mean, they had a pretty good shot the year before, if they would have done anything. But at this point, it's, well, I mean, it could have been possible to do something.
It might have been possible if I didn't ally France the year before.
Yeah.
This is when the bot came back on and was kind of good for the rest of the game. So everything
Yeah.
here is a bot map with just my my little touch at the end.
It's visible, like the arrows changed and stuff.
Yeah, convoys were sometimes a little bit weird, but
I mean, if you look at Savoy, Marseille, we see a very weird convoy.
What even is... Wait, what?
Marseille.
It's like the cross section of a paper airplane. I mean, I don't know what
Yeah.
else you can describe that shape as.
I think it should...
That is Genoa going to Marseille and Marseille going to Gulf of Lyon, and yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
By the Ligurian
Your guess is as
Sea.
good as mine. I
Yeah.
pretty much just ignored the Northwest Mediterranean for the entire adjudication for the rest of the game. I was just like, yeah, sure. We're all good.
I mean, literally once the Ottomans advance a little bit later, nothing ever happens.
World War One experience.
Spoiler alert, Iris.
Iris.
Oh,
Cut that.
Polish start pouring.
Mhm.
Oh, yes.
And no
What
one's
else
going
have
to
we
do
got?
anything against that.
Yeah, that alliance with Mali really paid off for Poland.
I think that's one of the last usual centers. Anguilla.
Yeah, that is remaining because Congo accidentally moved out of it at the end of last phase.
I think Ojibwa was taken last year, right? Or OG Cree,
Yeah.
one of the OGs out west.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
they got all.
Oh, and
taken,
Salik
yeah.
is still around because you are too busy fighting
Well.
Atapasca.
Mm.
And yeah,
If
as you
you
can
just
see,
you
at
can
least
guarantee
for
each
this-
other builds. You just got to blow each other's units up in the same province. Rinse and repeat.
Oh, we have
Everybody
good
wins.
Mexico.
Yeah. As we can see, the downfall of the Spanish Empire.
Yeah,
I think
was always
that
gonna
one
happen.
turn where they like hold it in entire America, it led to its downfall. Everything collapsed.
I mean, it was a slow... spoiler. It was a slow grind till they finally were eliminated. They
Yeah,
pretty much
like
stuck around.
They got a sub and they were very
a
active for the
very
whole game.
strong foothold. If he doesn't
More
mess
active
up,
than the original.
you know.
Hmm.
Yes.
Well.
I mean, we see a lot of bouncing and moves in Europe a bit. I don't know, can you zoom in on Asia? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, my peace with Mughals doesn't happen until next round, I think.
So...
You bounce with Tokugawa.
Yeah.
Whoa,
Because-
Oriental Sea Bounce? Wait a second.
Yeah.
Headlines.
This time I was moving out. I was like, okay, good. Because Ming in our lanes chat was like, you idiots, stop bouncing in Oriental Sea, do something. Because they were under attack. I was like, okay, I'm moving my fleets out and trying to do something against the Russians so I can support you. And I already had made an agreement with
Tokugawa
Russia.
just self-bounces anyways.
Yeah. Old Toku was very cautious. And I had an agreement with Russia to take Chukches. And I was like, hey, I'm going to take Chukches. And Toku was like, no, I want it. I was like, bruh. And as you can see, there are not many hostile moves against Russia in here. Because I said, I had an agreement. And the only thing
you went into Gobi.
Yeah, I broke that agreement. But I said, hey, I need to support Ming. And that's why I moved to Mukobi.
Yep.
Pretty sure Nivix and Evans bounce, but GM error.
Yeah, I think it didn't move, so that's fine. Other than that, yeah, Ming struggles a lot. And I think
Mughals
this
still fighting with the colonials.
Yeah, but I think next year he's going to get most of the southern Indian peninsula.
Yeah, you can already
Yeah,
see
he's
he's gonna
already-
stab the Portuguese.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now
You
I am
went into the Gulf
still at war
of
with him.
Man.
And as you can see, I'm mobilizing against him. But in Khiva and Bukhara, unfortunately, there is just way too much of a enemy overstrength, and I can never really take that. I tried something funny with Khiva to Kazakh, but that sadly didn't happen because Astrakhan got bounced. But thankfully, we can at least blow up Saritsyn really easily and go from there. Also, I'm putting India a little bit under pressure with moves into Mokran, but as you can see, there's just such a long way to go. Like I need to move to Mokran and then to Gore or Sindh, and then I can threaten one of his SCs. It's not a fun border to fight somebody.
Spoiler.
Potentially. Because they could be in Delhi, Agra, Sangpa, Yarkand, and just say, what are you gonna do? Chill and Gore, chill and Sindh, GG.
Yep, especially like if you look at Herat, how many provinces are adjacent? If you are at it from Herat is pretty hard to take from the Mughal side, and the other way around, taking something like Gore from my side of the front is also gonna be very difficult. It is very large provinces that have a lot of bordering other provinces. That is, I mean, you kind of need that in Imperial Diplomacy with just the sheer number of units you have more than in regular diplomacy. But also, like something like Moscow has crazy, almost 8 adjacencies or something. There's one center in China, like Yunnan or somewhere like that, that has 11 adjacencies. It's fucking crazy. Kunming, currently controlled by Ayutthaya, it has 11 adjacencies or something like that. It's crazy.
That's absolutely insane.
Which is part of the reason why this Ayutthaya Ming war takes forever.
Spoiler.
Yeah, he's gonna cut that out.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, he's cut that.
The Giga Chat video editor is gonna edit everything using FFmpeg.
Just paste
think
Glue the audio and
everybody
video
got the memo
together
that you shouldn't
that's it.
you shouldn't hold, you should core at this point. So
Yeah.
I think everybody got that.
Except in Red Sea, they didn't know yet that you can actually core a sea zone.
That will I think all the art shit happens in
No
that,
spoilers, damn it!
Well, we haven't got to the Inuit yet.
Until you said it was a spoiler.
Yeah. Okay, I went into the North Atlantic. I don't know what I did there. I just wanted. Oh, I asked France. Yeah, He said like, yeah, I had to get there, otherwise I would have to disband you. He got +9 that year.
Yep.
I felt like, bruh.
Everyone should know
Why
that
you gonna
France was
stand for one
exploding.
center
France
when you
was
are gunning
skyrocketing
+9?
at this.
Yeah,
I told
Like
you,
they were
you
top
have
of the
+9, you
leaderboard.
don't need-
Yes.
The big bad boy on the block. Everybody's got a coalition.
Yeah.
That was kind of the
So I
vibe I
told
was
him-
getting.
Yep,
Yeah, you
especially
went
from me,
+9,
which
don't
is
need
why
that much.
I think at this point did my Tehran Peace Conference. The first one.
So that was where I eliminated his fleet. Like when I went here, he wasn't able to retreat anywhere, so it was a forced disband. Also,
Yeah, this area is always fun to
army
adjudicate.
allowed me to plan to like enter Chipuyan using an army. I don't know why I didn't went in there, but I should have just used that army to go into Chilko or Satu. I managed to dislodge the.
Yeah, I don't think Satu's ever going to be
okay.
defended here.
Hmm.
I mean, Tilcho, it's a guess, but in what world are they going to self-bound Satu? Not when they're trying to kill you in Alaska. With Russia and Chukchi, you in Aleut.
Russia left, and I went into Chukchi, so it
God bless
actually looked
Russia.
pretty good for me.
But did you know that going into the phase that Russia was going to vacate?
Yeah, I'm not sure anymore because it was like months ago, but I think I told him that I want to Chukchi Sea, so I have 2 on Aleuts, but I think it was that. Because I had no beef with Russia, and there would be no reason to, like, tap him. But yeah. The war was actually looking good for me, I think.
This wasn't a negative year for the Inuit. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. You definitely made some progress.
Yeah.
The one
Spain,
demo for the dark.
Yeah, Spain's getting a hard hit right now. And he going away from here gives everything open for someone else to stab him. I wonder who that could be.
Best color in the
Yeah.
game.
Aymara would never
Yeah.
fight Queen, of course. Never.
Mapuche is doing good. This is also looking quite interesting. Yeah. Fleet flying over the outback.
Yeah, the adjacencies there are also quite funny.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's it. We go to the next. Uh, Spring retreats.
Yeah, I think both of my armies get blown up sometimes.
Yeah. Fall moves.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I still fight Mughals. And we have a massive
Yeah.
Congo from the Russians.
Okay. This map is the not good one. Can someone
think it-
link me?
I think at the
The
end of
good
next
map.
year, all the maps should be good. Once I got the scoreboard on the right figured out and everything.
Oh,
But
I
yeah,
see. I have the rest of them. I have downloaded them yet. Can someone link me to the good maps real quick? That would be great.
I guess in Maps channel, just scroll up. What year do we need? Fall 1944.
autumn 1644. There was one
yeah,
phase where I just
right.
said screw it because it's 11 p.m. But I don't think this was it.
How dare you!
Yeah, what is sleep?
Oh, it's so much to scroll.
Just use mouse wheel. Like click on
What?
mouse wheel and move. Click on mouse wheel and move mouse wheel up.
Doesn't work for me.
Nevertheless, I'm at a map, and we don't have a clean map at that point.
No?
There's no clean map.
Tyler?
Just roll with it.
Yeah, I think I make up for it.
Yeah. Just zoom on the Congo line.
Yep, that is really the highlight here. Because
It all
let's
comes
start
down
at
to
the
your
end.
hand.
Start at the end. Start
who's
at
good
the
or your
very end of the thing. Like start at the fleet in the very north of the Congo line.
Russia.
Laptip C.
You can do it, Cyclo. I believe in
What are you telling me about Congo?
you. Congo line.
Congo line. Mongoloid.
Oh, that one you say?
Yes. That one. As you can see,
I mean,
I kept to my piece. Mostly.
And
Yeah.
it would, and I think at this point I started screaming at you to please cut them.
what?
Yeah,
What?
I was, as I said, I had a deal with Russia, and I was unsure what to do. And at that point, I was like, okay, good. I need to reorganize my troops so I can attack them better. And as you can see, I support Inuit into Chukches, because me and
Oh,
Tokugawa had a talk. Like, he doesn't want me to get Chukches. I didn't want him to get Chukches. And we compromised on, hey, let's give it Inuit, and he's the neutral third power here.
It doesn't hurt me.
Yeah.
Also note that it's
And-
Chukchi's East Coast, and that cannot threaten Evans. So,
Yeah.
just saying.
Yep. And as you can see, my great plan is working. You now have a new homeland.
Especially with the
Where you will be
floating
exiled.
Evans Yukagir army.
I won't
That's actually an
spoil it
Evans.
now, but
That will get
your
resolved.
great plan. We will see how great it is.
No.
It worked out great for me.
Yeah.
You know,
we
the
have
worst
another
thing about
Congo
that
line.
massive Congo line is it actually succeeds.
Which one?
And I get the Russian one. I get dislodged in Yarkand.
Yeah, because of the support.
Yep. At that point, I was working loosely with the Ming against the Mughals because, well, we were both at war with them. I can't get Bukhara back for now, but I try a very cheeky little convoy into Kazakh,
Into where?
and it works.
Oh, into Russia.
Yes.
Dude, the line, it looks so cringe.
Yeah, the line looks a little bit weird, but yeah. Fleet Durban flying over the Caspian Sea to Kazakh. That fleet really was worth every buck.
As long as it's working.
I mean,
Oh, it's gonna work
the
great.
Caspian fleet will be one of your oldest, and will stick around for a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it has nowhere to go. Also, these two fleets are doing their job.
Yeah. As you can see, fleet in Trebizond was way better than another army.
That's right.
And we see bounces from Austria because he didn't do the safe thing and support move.
Yep. And so everything gets bounced. And he doesn't make any progress.
Yeah, the support move into Krakow. He can't, but he could.
He can't.
No, but he could have made guaranteed progress via Ruthenia and then be actually in a position
Yeah,
to do stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Or at least try for a supported move into Brandenburg, because a simple tap into Brandenburg will never work.
What? What happened here?
I
Freiburg
think
and
it,
Strasbourg.
I think at that point it was already clear that France was allied with Poland and would sooner or later attack them. And so
Don't worry, nothing ever happens here. Just
Yeah.
just ignore the Northwest man for the rest of the game.
nothing ever happens in Stuttgart.
Ja, Stuttgart. Nur Troll.
Yes.
Immer diese Schweizer.
You know, it makes me irrationally
Ausgewandert nach
angry
Stuttgart.
that my homeland is covered via the name Stuttgart. Although with how Strasbourg is designed, you could make an argument that at least my university, Heidelberg, is within Strasbourg, which makes it even worse.
It seems like Bavaria is a little further east than I thought Bavaria would be. But maybe that's just me.
At least
It doesn't
Franconia
quite
didn't
line up.
get integrated into Bavaria. That would have been a crime.
It's like, sorry for the tangent, but it makes me irrationally angry that Rhineland province doesn't have any SC, which, I mean, fine. You call it Bonn. What the fuck? Bonn doesn't fucking matter. That's why we picked it as the capital for West Germany, because it should be sure that it's a city that doesn't matter, so we can eventually make it Berlin again. Bonn doesn't fucking matter. Why the fuck did you name the province Bonn? It makes no sense. Why? Name it Cologne, name it Rhineland, name it anything except Bonn.
I mean, you could argue to call it Köln.
Yeah, exactly. Name it Cologne.
I would have accepted Ruhr.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not really the time period for, but yeah, fine. Even that is better than Bonn.
Triggered by Bonn.
Yes. Sorry.
Not to be confused with Connecticut, also known as Caen.
Wenn du in Bonn bist, kannst du dich daneben auf die Liege legen.
Was?
Was?
Kannst dich daneben auf die Liege legen.
Where do you live again? I wanna punch you.
Rightfully so. The thing is, no one will get it.
We really should team up for an IRL gang against him.
Yeah. Let me retrace his IP address.
I think it was Franconia, if I remember correctly.
You mean
Bavaria? Nah.
Lag mich gleich.
That's cap.
Well,
I mean,
back to the game.
Bavaria is almost in Hungary at this point. Like, what is Bavarian doing over there?
I mean, what is Vienna doing there? But
Well, I mean, yeah, fair enough.
Should we look at New World?
Oh yeah, let's actually look at moves. I mean, about Sweden. Sweden is slowly dying. England, France is still fighting. Portugal is helping the French, but so far not that important moves happen. We briefly have a nice English Normandy again, but that is unfortunately not to be for quite a long time. But at least the British get their homeland back.
1944.
Just give it 300 years. They got it.
Yeah.
They'll come save the French when they really need it the most.
I think the French don't feel like they're being saved right now.
Well.
Yeah, Mediterranean, the Ottomans are slowly advancing with their fleets. Battles going on over Morocco. And the Inuits, most important player, are also making an important inroad into the Greenland Sea. I wonder where they could be going. I certainly didn't suggest any free centers to them.
To be honest, my initial plan was going for Iceland.
Yeah, but Spitzbergen is so viel cooler.
And it would cost Russia.
I even made a
sea.
deal with Great Britain that I could have Iceland. I said, yeah, I want dying. Me. I need Iceland. And he said, yeah, I'm also dying. Yeah, you can have it.
I mean, there's a bit of peace. in
Oh
North
yeah, this
America.
is where the peace happens.
Yeah.
Because as you can see with your 3 units around, the only way you could have taken the capital again is if you taken with the fleet from Midi, and yeah, the confusion here is with Alaska, where Atapasca thought they could take it now already, and you thought no, only after I've secured my other centers, and yeah. But still,
Yeah, the
you
thing
only
is, if
lost
they take
one
my centers
this
now, I have
year
to disband.
instead of 2. Yeah. That one
And
was.
if I disband,
I don't
I
even
can't
know
go
if
into
that was
Russia.
an attempted step from them or it was simply miscommunication. I really don't know.
I'm not sure, but it definitely felt like a step. I think Atapasca really didn't care about me and just wanted me out of here.
Yeah.
And this
At least
also
in my
reflects in
mind,
how they
where the
behave the
piece should
later
have
years.
actually worked, they should have not taken that at this point, yes. But, well, things don't necessarily always turn out the way you want them.
Yeah, I should have just invaded him.
Yeah, agree to disagree.
Things collapsing. I mean, he got Mexico City back, and his move is centered.
Yeah.
We all love the bot.
The bot gets better.
This
The bot
here
doing
is
its
a
best.
big mess, and it's a big mess. One interesting thing is the Portuguese actually managed to get into St. Anthony.
Yeah, they won the 50-50 against England.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of moves
French.
are happening on the East Coast as well, but yeah, who cares? And France, for the first time, actually tries to at least threaten the Poles with a move into New Courland. But that might have actually been an arranged bounce in a way. I don't know.
I think
against
that was
whom, but-
arranged, actually.
Yeah, it looks arranged.
Against who?
Oh, we were trying to hide if we were still allies.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Ah.
Yeah, your
Oh.
Mali alliance is also paying off as you are just coring these centers there, and Mali moves completely away from you.
I love
Yeah.
Mali.
Yeah. That was a shame. Or good one.
I mean,
if you
it's,
look at your
it's
perspective.
the start of the New Zealand pilgrimage.
Yeah.
It is?
No, it gets bounced this year.
Yeah,
Or is
but I
it
think
the
it's the
African
start.
fleet that is going for it?
I was very mad at Portugal for that bounce. Just trying to start
it-
New Zealand.
Yeah, is it the African fleet that gets to it or the American one?
It's the African fleet that I use instead.
Okay, yeah. Oh yeah, and those lines going across the continent to connect with the other South Pacific Ocean looks a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I
Mapuche's
propose
getting
for
a really
future
good
imperial
foothold.
diplomacy, we should just have, or we should just make it that the Earth is actually not round, and so we don't have the issues. Just
Make the
change the
map
world to not be round.
into 3D. So you can not just go like this, but you can also go like Antarctica.
I mean, sure, but we already get nuke maps that completely destroy Discord on mobile from just this 2D projection, so...
I mean,
Yeah, it's
We
because all you
technically
fucks
could
keeps
make it a
asking for
2D.
art.
Hey, I asked for something simple.
Okay,
To be honest,
ask is
Discord.
too soft. Demand might be more accurate.
I asked sheeps very, very nicely. I never demanded.
Oh, nice. How did the scavenger hunt go? I haven't actually followed it at all. So I'm actually going to kind of play it after everything resolves because I have no idea how the scavenger hunt went. I didn't play.
Thanks for reminding me. I still need to find the solution for the last one.
Yeah, same. Anyways, back
I
to the
can
game.
tell you so much. It wasn't Ireland.
I think the clue is patty, but it wasn't like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
hamburger
So my
patty.
first guess was Ireland.
Lol.
Yeah, I think we've gone
Okay.
full circle. We've
Did
arrived
Fairy
again at
sub
the
in at
spot.
this point? I think at this point Fairy might have subbed in. Is this only year 3? I'm not sure. I think they subbed in after year 4, but I'm not positive.
Yeah, probably
It's
around now.
1644. I think it's next year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a new Moo Yule. We had a new England at this point. Steve Lyon showed up, I
Yep.
think. And
Yeah, that is also the point where
Evie was
England
the new
starts
Spain.
to work with England. France and England start to work with each other.
And also, I think it's where Fairy just stabbed me.
Could be.
Oh,
And
No,
we're
that's
at a
all
that's
the
start
only
not
again.
maps
quite
I
it.
have.
That's not quite it. So do we cut it here and continue with part 2 sometime else?
Yeah, we have 3.5 hours on the clock.
Yep.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we can look at lovely retreats and see that right now I'm looking quite big, but I think in the winter my 2 Khiva and Bukhara SCs get colored in for the Russians.
I love how the projections so distorted. Like, looking at King, you would expect, mid-range power. Looking inside, 5 center. Wow.
I mean, you've got like 3 or 4 more. No, 5 more. You're actually at 10, I think, right now. Right?
I've got nothing this year, I guess. I
Yeah,
used...
but you're still at 10.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I can feel it.
Portugal losing here, like, extremely.
Yep.
The big Portugal letdown is going to happen soon.
Yep. And as you can see, I'm in quite a threatening position against the Mughals with my armies and fleets. However, it looks a lot more threatening than it is, if we are being honest.
Yeah.
Because that one army in Sindh can try to get into one of their centers, but because Mughals is growing on their other fronts, they can very easily put builds into all of them. And
I mean, your
they
fleets
can't
are
do
helping a lot.
Yes, but I still can't force a Medabat because of the fleet in Gulf of Kambat. And I can't get into Lakshadweep Sea because fleet Goa.
I mean, you could have asked the Portuguese before they disbanded because they got stabbed.
Yes, it didn't work out. They literally died too quickly before I could maybe work with them. But yes, that would have been the theoretical option. But yeah, I think it is exactly after this year that I make negotiations with the Mughals, because even if I maybe get 1 or 2 centers of them, look at the Russians in Bukhara and Khiva. I do not like that. I really want to focus on the Russian front. And my thinking basically goes, look how painful it was for me to even get to the gates of Delhi. If he does it the other way around, with me now also having fleet control over him, he's never gonna be able to stab me. Foreshadowing is a literary device.
Oh well, then let's end this here and continue.
Starting with winter 1644 next
Something
time.
like that. Yeah.
We've made it 3 years.
Yeah. But after our initial discussion, it went a bit faster.
Yeah, but year 1 is always the longest. Also, if we compare this to Diplo strats or something like that, there's quite a good reason why when they cover a game, especially as large as Imperial Diplomacy, they only talk about the single power and go into detail of that single power, and also prepare beforehand.
Hint, hint.
We can look how much this video explodes on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then we can hire a cutter so he can cut out all of the spoilers.